Well, the road to the K1 National Championship continues on in the month of March. Hello,
Yeah.
everybody. My name is James, and I've got Jason alongside of me. We welcome you guys to GP. If we switch over here to the booth.
We'll get there.
Hi.
Hi.
How you
Welcome
doing?
to the second one of the year, right?
It's the month of March.
So third one of the year.
It's the third one.
Basic math. Here
See,
we go.
somebody on the team has got to keep track of you
I know.
because you're just all running off all on tangents and
I
stuff.
know.
So
I love it. So I've heard something today, though, that this is one of the bigger GP turnouts we've had.
Possibly.
And
I haven't even looked. I'm supposed to be in charge around here, but I haven't
I
even
know.
looked.
I heard it's like 25. Last I heard, it was like 25 people. So,
Okay.
And a majority of them are new, like haven't been to K1 yet, K1 Speed Canton, and done a GP or raced. So
Perfect.
I think it's going to be a really good night of racing.
Yeah, I hope so. Well, we welcome people to come to GP. That's exactly what we want, so
Exactly
that's great.
it.
I guess we'll find out when we switch over here to to our track cams. So.
Yeah, I wish you guys could have seen. We have multiple TVs up here for all the views, and one of our racers, Armand, was sticking his face in the camera. But I think
I
it's going to
missed
be great because this style of racing breaks it down where you go out, qualify, you're thrown in random qualifiers with random karts, but right after that, you get broken down into your heats. So you'll be racing your final with people. So if you're first time here, you might be 28, 29 seconds. You're going to be racing with those same people that are racing in that same time gap. So it gives everyone a really good chance of winning.
Yeah, it does.
Their heat, at least.
Yeah, and that's kind of the fun thing about it is you get to do position-based racing and you get to worry about your heat and the people you're racing with, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, definitely.
In kind of a, I don't know, less pressure environment. Do you consider GP less pressure?
I do. When I was racing it, it seemed more like, especially when there's a lot of people and we broke down into heats. When there was one heat, it was tough because I knew that no matter what, I wasn't going to necessarily be as fast as the top three. But once we broke down into heats, I always like to claim I was the fastest at the slows. And no matter
which is what we saw last month.
Yeah, and no matter where I broke down in the heat, I would wind up somewhere towards the top. So it felt very competitive. So as far as no pressure for the people that are taking GP seriously month after month, going after the national championship to the world championship.
Yeah, that's true.
There's the pressure there,
Yeah.
but not necessarily for someone who just shows up and races in a big group of people. There's a bunch of really, really good racers that care about making everybody faster, and they're nice and polite, and you can ask them questions, and we'll all answer them. But really, it's just a fun environment.
Mm-hmm.
You get the qualifying part, which you just, if you're not as fast as the person in front of you or behind you, just let them by and learn from their line. And then, you kind of pick up some tricks that way. But then you have your position-based final, which is a lot of fun. So, yeah.
Well, and we run the endurance races on this channel, which is more formal. It's leading up to the 12 Hours of Canton, which we're going to talk a lot about tonight.
Yep.
But when you do GP, yeah, you're like you said, you are worrying about the national championship and the points implications. But it's, I don't know, it's more open. It's just arrive and drive. You show up at 6 o'clock, you register, and then, off we go. So.
Yeah, and it's really fun here because we take the competition karting side of this. We take the karts and the facility really seriously, so we put a lot of time into the karts, the track, everything else, and so you're really driving top-notch karts, so everybody has a really fair chance at it.
Yeah, they do. So if you're new to GP, welcome. Thanks, guys, for following along. We got some people in the chat. We appreciate you guys hanging in there, and we're hanging out on a Sunday night with us.
Yeah.
We're going to do 2 qualifiers and a final, and that number of qualifiers and a final is going to be determined by how many people are in the race tonight. So let me check that out real quick.
I think they were planning on 2 finals, but with as many people as we have, I think there's probably going to be 3.
It looks like there's going to be 3, yeah. So
full 3.
Yeah, 3 people in the qualifiers times 3 times 2 qualifiers times 3 finals. So.
I'll let you do that math.
Perfect.
I just saw in the chat someone said they'd like to see a race between me and James. If it's a position-based race and he's got speed 3, then I'm in.
And speed 3 is slower, just so you know. So.
Yeah.
But that would make some good content.
It would.
I think
it would. Yeah. There's been a lot of different races I've raced with James and had a ton of fun. Boost League's one of my favorites, and then Endurance is always good too. So it's we get out and race when we can. No, it's not for cookies this time. It's for points.
Yeah. Go back and watch the last endurance race and try to figure out what happened. Good luck. Actually, we did figure out what happened.
Yes.
I guess we could touch on that.
Yeah.
As we'll introduce the people in the heat first, just to be fair to them. So we welcome Alexandra, Katie, William, Andrew, Rachel, Armand, Joe, and Jesse.
So a lot of new names in this heat. So I'm expecting that the Rachel, Armand, William, Katie group will probably try to create themselves a little bit of a gap here and let the newer guys kind of get the run of the course a little bit, and then we know the fastest ones will try to give themselves some space so that they are able to put down the fastest lap they can. But
yeah, and you got 14 laps to do it. Normally we do an arrive and drive. You're getting 12 laps, so you get a couple extra tonight. We're happy to have lithium batteries on board the car so your battery doesn't die off. So you actually stand a pretty good chance of running faster as the time goes on. So
it's gonna be a great race.
Yeah, let's touch on the race for cookies real quick. So if you didn't figure out the title of the last video with the endurance race, then what happened was this: we made a mistake on the car numbers, and when Marshall and Armand went out, they were. Well, we want to say they're in the wrong car numbers. We actually found out we put them in the wrong car numbers. So my apologies on the K1 side. But what happened was Armand pitted right away on the first lap. Well, at that point, the cars were swapped. So he didn't get his lap registered, but Marshall triggered it for him.
Yeah.
So the whole race, they were in the incorrect positions. And at the very end, Armand did die right before the start-finish line. So he wasn't able to complete the whole race. He was basically got a DNF.
Yep.
But all in the name of cookies, because he had bet the Felbers that he could do it.
That he could start.
He could start in the back and win the race.
Yep.
And the Felbers said, no, you can't do that. But he almost did it.
He almost did.
And he ran the math on it, and he showed it to us afterwards, and he basically showed us that he ran more consistent 25-second lap times than anybody else in the race, and so he did gain a lot of positions. And
yes, he did.
And if he had pitted like around lap 2 or 3, he probably could have made his battery last long enough to finish and run from back to front.
Yeah, because he died, if we're on board with Armando Ligny right now, he died right here, before the start-finish line. So he just barely made it to the point where he was kicking his cart to try to make it go. On board here with Marshall. No, I don't believe that's Marshall.
Doesn't look like him, but the camera's tilted back a little too far.
Let's see here. But yeah, Rachel Hart up top with a 26.329 so far. A little bit slower on her last lap, but it's followed, immediately bested by Armand at a 26.249, so they are very close.
We're probably looking for qualifying times being the 25 seconds. I would fully imagine we're going to hit that mark.
Yeah, on board with Rachel here.
Oh, this is Rachel. Okay,
yes.
So let's mark that. And
yeah, so we've got Rachel. We got on board with Rachel here. I think we've got William Goss on GoPro 2, I believe, even though it says Katie. I recognize his helmet.
William usually has a yellow helmet.
Oh. All right. Well, we're learning as we go. Once we get these lower thirds dropped off, we can correct them and hopefully move forward with that. But Armand putting in another fast lap at a 26.236. So right now we've got pretty much the top 6 in the 26s. Low 26s for the first 3, and then we're moving to the 27s and 29s with Andrew and Alexandra at the bottom. But like I said, as we go through these heats, those 29s are separated quite a bit by the 26s that we see Rachel Hart running a 26.113, but they will be separated out into their according heats for the final. So we will probably see a couple groups of 28s and 29s, if I was to guess, for the last final heat.
Rachel jumps up to the top of the 26.1. Not quite in the 25s.
Yep, getting there.
I'm sorry, did you just say that?
I literally just said it, but that's okay. You were multitasking.
I was.
Yeah.
Somebody asked what heat Marshall is in. I was looking that up. I'm so sorry. Marshall is scheduled to be in the C main, so third race.
Yeah, keep an eye out for everybody. Like I said, it's going to be a mixed bag of nuts here for the qualifiers, but we will catch up to it as we grow the viewership. So definitely share this stream with your friends, get them to view, comment, and as we grow the stream, the little hiccups like we had where Rachel is at a 26.047 now, so she's cruising to the 25s, almost there. Like you said, she's almost there.
Yeah.
But as we grow this stream and as you guys help us grow this from other K1s and everywhere else, just watch our GP and see how we run it. Maybe take notes on your guys's or just follow along with some of the drivers. As we grow it, we'll be able to get a producer up here and handle some of that.
Well, that's the fun part is you get to follow along with the drivers. So,
yeah.
You get to know them. I was watching some other go-karting over the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Man, it's tough because there are so many different levels and there are different cars and competition levels. I'm still trying to learn it all.
Yep.
But here you kind of have a smaller field to worry about, and they all drive the same car. So
yeah,
I think it's a little easier to follow along. So the more you guys watch the stream, I think the more you'll get to know the drivers. And one of the things we're going to do tonight is we're going to play the interview that Jason did with Katie and PJ. We'll show a clip of that, and that was released earlier this week. So
that was a lot of fun.
It's so much more interesting to watch racing when you know the racer behind it. So
absolutely. Yep, and in the comments, we take notice of who you guys want us to interview, and that we work on these interviews. Try to get one out a week, just behind the scenes. A lot going on building up to the 12 hours.
Armand did it on the last lap
that.
as he points to the scoreboard. 26-0, besting Rachel Hart in the 23.
26.032 versus a 26.043. That is close.
So Rachel was ahead. Was that a thumbs up? Or was that a different gesture?
I think
it's a fist bump.
Definitely
okay, cool.
thumbs up.
All right, cool.
Yeah, so a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. We try to get one out a week, but building into the 12 hours.
Yeah, that is a .011 difference in lap time between a Rachel and Armand. So congratulations to them.
Look at all the lap times, though. I mean, we have one outlier, which is okay, probably first time on the track, so getting used to it at 29.6. Still not a bad time for your best lap. But everybody else in the 26s, so the karts are pretty dialed in. I know I stopped in this week sometime and saw James running these things up and down the straightaways and just measuring things and taking notes. And so there's a lot of work that goes in behind the scenes to try to make these things as even as possible. We like really good competitive racing, but giving everyone very similar equipment to race with.
It is a huge, huge challenge. I mean, you guys go to other go-kart tracks, and you know what it's like. I mean, it is 36 individual cars with different levels of tire wear, different chain wear,
alignments,
batteries giving out different voltage levels. Yeah, everything you can imagine that would make a race car tick differently at tenths of a second has to be maintained against 36 cars. That is a huge fleet. Huge shout out to our mechanic who does a phenomenal job at it. But I am just, I'm dead set on making it even closer if at all possible. So,
short of getting a dyno, which we're not ready for the $15,000 investment for the dyno, but we're really close.
We'll take super chats tonight. If you guys want to put up a super chat, we'll put that in the dyno fund.
Definitely, dyno fund, and just all around fund for competition karting, so we can do better videos and get more cameras and everything.
And as K1 Racer says. He says, or all the workers. I thought he was saying and all the workers. But obviously, yeah, we appreciate the workers who make all that possible, too. And they will make tonight possible as well, so we appreciate it.
Yep, everybody bouncing around the pits as they get started, plugging batteries in, and the next heat is raring and ready to go. Who do we have up in the next heat, James?
YouTube?
Okay. Well, it hasn't updated here, so
right.
That's a bad question.
We'll have Alex and Jim and Mark and Gavin, Brendan, Greg, Zach, Brad, David.
Cool. Some new names.
Yep, mixed in with our familiar names.
Yeah.
As soon as they get those guys going. Let's look at the point standings overall. So this is after the month of February. You got Marshall Miller up there at the top, and then you've got second and third, the people we just talked about, Armand and Rachel, tied for second. I guess, yeah, they are tied, yeah. Tiebreakers in GP are based on the number of wins. And then you got fourth, you got PJ with Nate Groh not competing tonight, unfortunately. He is finishing up a championship tonight, so he couldn't make it. And Corey Salerno, which I haven't seen on the roster yet, but last time I said he wasn't here, that got me in trouble too. So
I haven't seen him. When I was down in the pits, I didn't see him, but maybe he snuck in. But if not, he's going to lose a few points to that. David Ponce, I did see tonight.
Yes, David Pons.
Ponce. Got it.
Yeah, well, so, yeah, it just, sorry. I had to bring it up. I couldn't resist not saying it because I was told I was pronouncing it wrong, and I apologize. I don't want to mispronounce anybody's name, but I hope I'm saying it correctly now. So
Perfect. And speaking of, can we drop that lower third so anytime we bring that up, it doesn't pop up unless the names are getting corrected? Possibly. Oh, looks like Alex is doing it. Alex down there on the GoPros, just getting everybody's name so we have correct labels. Helps us up here and you guys as viewers is who we are on board with. But yes, David Pons in the race.
exactly. Squiggly saying, wish we'd opened the outdoor today. Outdoor will not open until after the 12 hours.
Yep.
Sorry, guys.
There is
Too much going on, too much track reconfiguration, and a couple things need to be tidied up out there before we open. So
yeah, we were just working on the rest of the pit lane yesterday. So getting that all buttoned up. We have a new pit lane, but also a new track layout that we get to try in some of our leagues. Boost League gets to try some layouts, and David picking songs that he wants to listen to. You got to be careful with these onboards like this because, you know, you could be scrolling through Instagram or maybe Tinder or something. And
I'm sure that's what David would be doing right before a race.
Oh, he's calm, cool, and collected. He's just listening to jazz down there, it looks like, so we should be all right. But yeah.
We've had there we go. Oh, no, he's listening to us.
Oh.
That's definitely what he's doing, listening to the live stream.
Has to be.
Well, that way he knows what's going on.
That's true. But yeah, as we round third and head home towards the 12 hours in a couple weeks, just buttoning up track layouts and stuff like that. New pit lane is awesome. You guys will definitely have to check it out after the 12 hours when we get back to Boost League and the next endurance series starting in the spring. That's what I love the summer endurance series because we run that outdoor track so much.
I think David's going to be in car number 19. Let's double check.
Yep,
yeah,
I
he
can
is.
see it.
Okay.
Notice the heads-up displays we run on these carts, brought to you by InTech Karting, James and K1 Speed Canton with the what's the name of it?
Combat karting.
Combat karting. Yeah, I keep wanting to say competition karting. Combat karting system on there, so it gives the drivers the current lap, best lap they're on.
I'm really going to be interested to see what Alex Haymaker does. Him and let's see if his buddy's in here. No, not seeing it. So Alex Haymaker, a new frequent visitor to K1 Speed.
Oh, yeah.
And we've been trying to convince him to do GP. And we tried to convince him also to do endurance. And he said he would, and here he is tonight. So.
Awesome.
Jim Johns is back. We had a little on-track excursion with him last month that was Jason on the going into turn one with him. So good to see Jim back.
Was that that was last season's GP, wasn't it?
No, it was last month. It was only been a month. So.
Did I run GP? Oh, yeah, I did run GP last month.
Yep,
yeah.
you did.
There's a lot that's happened in the past month. I got to catch up to it.
It's the 12 hours.
Yeah, it is.
Let's check overhead as we're watching the cars that are going to space each other out. They're just doing qualifiers, so you just want to get some space. If you can get clean track, you just want to run the fastest lap time you can. You do get 2 qualifiers tonight, so you only pick the fastest lap time of the 2. If this one's not your forte, then you get to drop it and run with something else. Then we'll switch over to a final. We'll line you up fastest to slowest in the according heat. And we will run a B and C main tonight. As car 12 slams turn 4 there.
Yeah, Gavin was tailgating a little bit, trying to get a line. Looked like from Jim Jones. No, it would be Greg Thompson. So trying to learn a line and got a little loose there.
We were following the car of 25. I like the name, Brad Cool. I'm sure he's never heard that before.
Yeah, right?
Maybe his legal one, or hopefully someone he gave us that's real. David Ponce, fastest so far, but still high 26s, so we'll give him a couple of laps to see what happens. Brendan Thomas, back to the GP series. He ran last month as well. Welcome him back, and I think we were just following him in the 34. Let's, yeah, we missed him. This is David Ponce with a gold and silver helmet right here. Let's wait for him to cross the timing line and see what he can do on his 3rd lap.
26.7. So a little bit better. 10th a lap.
David Ponce is probably still recovering from his 50 race challenge.
Yeah.
He
set
came,
the new record.
He did. Well, it's unofficial. Well, I'm sorry. Yeah, the
new 50 race record.
Yeah. I thought you were talking about the track
record. No, he did beat that, but
he did. Yeah, but it was unofficial because he ran a race back to back, unfortunately. But anyways, 50 race challenge, something that Jason started a couple years ago. Is how many races can you run in one day? And it started at 50 and it crept up to 52 and then 56. The next thing you know, Nathan Johns is running 62 races. And let's give you guys in the chat a quick question, and let's see. Can you tell us how many races did David complete on Wednesday in 10 hours?
10 hours running
back-to-back races. And a race is 12 laps. Somebody messaged us and said, I could do, I almost said the number, but I could do that number of laps in one day. I said, it's not laps, it's races. So.
Yeah. And these carts, which is funny, I've talked to different people about it, and actually PJ and Katie's YouTube interview, the sidetracked interview I just did, these carts will run 70-some laps on new batteries. It is pretty good. 74 is a guess from Squiggly.
He was here. Yep, he knows.
Okay.
Good job paying attention. Yeah, 74 races in 10 hours, a new record. And normally when you're doing a Arrive and Drive, we factor in about a race every 10 minutes, but he was actually able to complete that pace even faster. So as we watch on board, looking at the back of the number 5 of Jim Johns.
I think this is Zach Triplett here. And just looks like he's learning a line a little bit, just trying to tighten his line up. It's good to run behind someone who's a little bit faster than you to learn the track. But
yeah, Jim would be a good one to follow.
Yeah.
So actually, we'll see what he does. This is Zach. We can actually see on his heads-up display, it is shown as position 6. So we'll take that to be car number 16. I wonder if Zach has a space in his name on
purpose?
By birth?
Or if they just typed it in.
Oh, it's going to run a little wide. You got traffic right next to him. Let's see if we can figure out who that is. Give him the squeeze. Oh, the number 30 and also the number 8 are going to squeeze by him.
Greg and Alex just taking advantage of a little bit of door he left open, running a little bit faster than him, and squeezes through. That's pretty good racing for qualifying.
We've got the top 5 guys under 27 seconds, which we consider our pro time. If you're hitting sub 27, you're in good shape.
Yeah, and everyone's in the 27s, which is good.
Yeah. Yeah, only a couple tenths off, which means you only have a few things that you need to clean up in order to get underneath that 27-second time.
Yep. It's all about tightening up your line a little bit, learning a little kart control, and you will be right there in the 26s as David jumps up with a 26.221.
And remember, too, this is all aggregated times, so just because you're running in the A, B, or C main doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be excluded from the final in the ABC. It just we are going to sort everybody fastest to slowest. So.
Yeah, what's fun about GP is being able to run with people similar times to you. That's the fun part of it. That takes the pressure off of having to compete, knowing first time here you see people running 25s and low 26s, and you're like, oh man, I can't do that. Well, that's all right, because you'll be in a heat of people that run similar times to you, giving you the best chance to win your heat, and that is what makes it so much fun.
Number 8, leaning as he goes across the start-finish line to see if he can improve that time at all. That is Alex Haymaker right there.
Running at currently a best lap of a 26.641. So trying to tidy that line up a little bit to take David Ponce, who is currently the leader of this heat at a 26.221.
But remember, you're trying to beat the 26 zeros of Armand and Rachel for pole at this point.
Yeah, they didn't hit the 25s, did they?
No, they did not.
So no 25s tonight. We have not seen Marshall Miller, who's in the 3rd heat, and a couple of other drivers. As the final lap, there's our, as I say it, 25.963 from David Ponce, and that is a screaming lap, puts him on top.
I saw him pull off because we saw that high lap time on that last one, which means he was getting that clear track space, and he made a run for it. And he made it underneath the 26.
Last lap flyer.
Good job to Jim Johns. Greg, also on our top 3 for that particular heat.
Those 26s, when we break these times down to go into the final heats, people are going to be separated by thousandths of a second going into this. I've seen so many 26s and 27s.
It's David Ponce right now, if you're not recognized that helmet yet. And if anything else, if you're just a K1 Speed arrive and drive person, you normally get 12 laps. At least you get 2 extra laps here tonight.
Yep.
So if you're trying to clean up your line, then kind of works.
Rachel with the Team Supersonic on top of the qualifying tonight. Yes, David Ponce is part of Supersonic. They are running in the 12 Hours of Canton, defending champions.
So we'll talk about the 12 hours. All right. So it is literally next Friday. Not this coming Friday, next Friday. And we always joke about how nervous we are and everything like that, but ultimately super excited about it. We have some of the best drivers that we have here coming to compete. Make sure you guys are subscribing to the channel because we're going to live stream it. If you didn't see all the social media stuff being published, we're starting to put out information on the team so you can get to know who your drivers are, and we're fine-tuning cars, and we're
setting up giveaways.
Yeah, that's the cool thing about watching the live stream.
It's going to be sweet this year.
What do you got for them?
So every 2 hours, we're going to be doing giveaways, and it's going to be based on the amount of viewers. So there's a base setting to it of how many viewers we have for the live stream. So every 2 hours, if there's, I don't know the number yet, but if we have more than X number of people on the stream, we're going to give this away. And if we have more, we're going to give this way. So the more people we have watching, the better the prizes are. But they start out base level really cool. We've got some awesome drones from Ohio Drone Repair. We're going to be giving drones away, DJI drones. So not knockoff drones. These are real awesome drones. And then there's also a grand prize of a professional level drone that we're giving away as well on top of it. But then we've also got Track First, a local safety equipment racing supplier here, has given us some stuff to give away. FLBR Motorsports, one of our title sponsors, has put some stuff together as well. And then also we're doing some K1 stuff giveaway, right? We're doing...
Yeah, we'll be giving out races at some level or package level, something of that sort. So
so there's some really good stuff to just by watching. You guys can win. So there's no better way to do that.
Yeah, because that's what we want. We want people to watch and engage and bring your friends. We've heard of watch parties that are going to be taking place. We've heard of a restaurant that's going to be live streaming it in their restaurant.
Bubba's 33. So check out Bubba's 33 if you guys are there. They're open till 11 p.m. They're going to have the live stream on in the restaurant and in the bar all day for us, and they are one of our sponsors bringing us food, and we could not be more excited for the food packages we have this year because we have, if you're local here, Hallenbird is a fantastic chicken place.
To try them.
Oh.
I've officially had I've had the chicken and waffles from Hallenbird.
They're bringing their food truck, so it'll be really good for lunch.
I got to see the food truck as well, and it was delicious. Very good. You get that. Are they a local company only, or are they multiple? Okay,
no, local.
Just
so far,
local. Okay, because they have that feel to their restaurant. It's a unique setup for sure.
Yeah,
but really good food, and there were a lot of people there, so I think word is getting out about Hallenbird.
Yeah, it's awesome. So the watch parties will be a lot of fun and ways for you guys watching to participate and win along with the drivers on track. This is our third qualifying heats. For the first qualifying.
Yeah, for the first round of qualifying.
First round of qualifying. There you go.
The C heat, I guess is what you could call it.
And we've got Forrest, Jonathan, Thomas, Jacob, PJ, Jason, Tyler, Thomas, and Marshall Miller in Part 26.
So basically everybody in this race is somebody to watch out for.
That is exactly it.
That's what it goes down to. PJ already in the points. You got Marshall Miller, who just racked up his first lap. He's leading the points. And everybody else who's opening up their first lap of 14 in this qualifier. Let's see what we can do. Down there in the fourth position, the number 27 machine, Tyler also running in the 12 hours with PJ. And we're going to show you guys a clip of that here momentarily when we get in between some of our heats. Talk about our some of our 12-hour drivers. But if you want to see the full thing, obviously it's posted on the channel. We're just going to highlight some stuff tonight.
PJ and Katie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Loved the interview. It was great.
Father-daughter combo, and they weren't really into racing. They played baseball mostly, and then fell in love with go-karting. They're extremely competitive too, so it's such a cool story. Marshall, out of the gate, 3 laps in, 25.895.
Wow.
All right, there's our 25, along with David Pons. They are the 2 25s that we've seen so far tonight. PJ not far behind at a 26.468. 3 laps in. I say not far behind. 3 laps in. These karts are still warming up. Drivers are still getting heat in the tires and getting their lines down.
You could look at 2 cars go side by side. That's number 27 of Tyler and the number 14 of Thomas.
Really wide in 27.
Yeah, I think he was just anxious to get by, so it gave him a little bit of squeeze. We always talk about turn 4 being the worst to try to pass, but pulled it off, I guess. So
Tyler looks like he's out for it at a 27.082, trying to creep into the 26s there. He has some open air track space now, so let's see what he can run with.
this should be on board with Tyler. I believe this is the number 27.
Yeah, he's got a good gap there to work on his line, tighten things up. Let's see what he gets coming across the line here. And he does best himself. So 26.552, so dropped about a half a second there once he got out of traffic. And he is creeping up on Jonathan Douglas there, I think.
Try to see if we can get the car number. I think our closing speed is pretty good here, so we're going to get a chance to look at the number.
Number 17?
17 of Forrest.
Yep, so Forrest, my bad. Again, everybody running pretty good. I think by the end of it, hopefully everyone's in the 26s again. Only Forrest, Sowards, and Thomas Eves stuck back there with a 27.483 for Forrest, and Thomas running at a 28.684. On board with PJ, because I can tell by his gloves, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, his helmet, too.
Helmet, yeah. Well, he runs with the gloves that have the finger cutouts. Most of the time I've seen people...
Oh, does he?
Yeah, so he's always run with these gloves that don't cover his fingers all the way. And I should have asked him in the interview, but I've always wondered why. Marshall flying around, we'll just leave him be because he's at a 25.855 now. So Marshall's running 25s.
Yeah.
I'm hoping PJ cracks into the 25s. He has improved his racing. He was a mid-pack racer, fantastic at endurance races, but always mid-pack. He has improved his line dramatically and has been a low 26 and a 25 guy now. So it's really good to see him very competitive. As we see the blue flag fly, PJ's going to let him know, get out of my way so he can get a nice clean lap. And he's going to dip off to the side here so he can get some breathing room.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Smart move. There's a couple places on track that are ideal, and he's going to point those guys up. Just keep going. It's a couple of places on track that are ideal for pull-offs. Not necessarily turns 1 and 2, but the one he just passed there would be the best one, but that's okay. And also this area over here off to the right, huge runoff area. If you ever are doing a qualifying session, you need to run a clean lap. That's the best place to pull off. I tell the junior and the teen drivers that in the leagues that they run, because not only is it wide open and you have a pretty good chance of staying clean, but it also gives you a good run to the start-finish line. You don't have to worry about losing momentum. Let's check overhead here as we're looking at the number 20, the number 29. Jacob Ryan. Jacob was the one I was looking for a minute ago with Alex.
Yep.
I was saying they're the guys who are running together and they're coming a lot more frequently. So
good
to have him competing here.
Yeah, and a 26.3 is your best time so far is really good. Marshall snuck another 10th off his time at a 25.7, but
and see he was hugging that carousel nice and tight, so that tells you he's on the right track.
Yeah. I like these races because you like I said, in qualifying there's really no pressure to it.
Let's follow that number 29 all the way around the track. I want to see what his line is doing because his times have been coming down as he's just basically started here a couple months ago.
Good turn in. Good turn in.
Yeah, staying out wide to the carousel and then hugging it on the right-hand side. That's very good.
Yeah, he is
I'm sure
definitely been taking notes.
he'll appreciate us critiquing his particular race line. But
White flag is flying, so let's see what he does on his final lap.
Yep. See if he can pull something out. Maybe he can go purple on the last lap. He's got a little bit of a lift into 4. That might be too much. That might be where you're losing a little bit of momentum. It's very tough to, muscle that car through turn 4, but
his last lap was his best lap, so let's see if he improves at a 26.393. What's he going to have this time? 26.7, a little bit worse.
So he will remain in 6th spot as far as this qualifier goes, but that's okay. He'll get another chance and another run at it.
So we've got Marshall Miller at a 25.766, Tyler with a 26.061, and PJ in 3rd with a 26.188. And then if you drop down further down the board, we are separated by tenths, hundredths, all the way down through until we get to Thomas Eves with a 28.014. So almost at the 27s.
I just checked the chat. We've already got Armand talking smack about David. He says 74 races and he's still super slow.
They're on the same team.
Yeah, and David beat him in his first qualifier, so
we'll see what happens.
Take that, Armand. Somebody's rooting for Marshall, that's for sure. K1 Racer. Rachel Hartz, can we have the fast carts next time? Yeah, Rachel, we'll line that up for you.
Yeah.
We'll give you only the fast cart.
I love it when people say that. Everyone's separated by tenths except for Marshall, who you would expect to be in the 25s. But
was it up at Boss in Cleveland that has a car sitting in the entryway that says the fast cart on it?
Yes.
Yeah. I like that. It's a good idea.
I thought it would be.
Because I'm sure people come in and do the same thing. I want the fast cart.
Here it is.
Well, here it is.
Yep.
It's not on track, so.
As PJ gets out of the cart here in 3rd place, solid in the low 26s, and there's going to be a few of them that are in the low 26s, and by a few I mean probably a good dozen.
So as we're following PJ off track, let's take a moment to do a little snippet of that interview we had. Again, the full interview is available, but let's go ahead and roll that.
Hey everyone, welcome to Sidetracked. I am Jason, and today I have PJ and Katie with us to get a little behind the scenes on them.
We've always been competitive. I grew up, I was a ball player. I like competing. I like trying to show the younger crowd that us old guys still got it.
Yep.
Yep. There's a lot of fast racers here, so to finish in the middle of the pack is a good accomplishment for myself. But, I take that with pride. I'm old enough to beat a lot of these dads or grandparents.
Yeah.
A couple of young ones that'll be here later. When we come for a ride and drive, it just seems like I get a couple of good laps. So I want to come out here with the faster racers. So, keeps me young.
Yeah, and you can learn a lot from them.
I'm still 29.
Yeah, it's okay.
I just have anniversaries.
So I'm assuming, PJ, you're like a racing fan. You watch racing on TV and stuff. Has it always been in the family racing, or
No.
We literally just picked this up.
Really?
Yeah.
A couple years ago.
I like going to the local track and watch sprint cars.
Yeah.
Like I said, we were ball players. So, Katie and I both were ball players. I played baseball most of my life. Katie was a softball player.
Yep.
But, Katie tells me, Dad, they're building a go-kart track, and it was like, oh, here we go.
Because we were always planning a trip up to High Voltage, but it was just so far away with busy schedules. And I was like, Dad, they're building a K1 5 minutes away. Like, we just got to hold out till January, and we can start racing.
Yeah.
And then I was hooked.
Yeah.
I didn't see the sign. There is a sign.
It's on the front door.
It is on the door.
It may become addictive.
I didn't see it. Did not see it. So
I mean, you guys, I started seeing you guys really show up for the endurance races. So
what was it? 85 laps.
85 was our first one.
Yes.
Yeah.
No pit stops.
No pit stop, 85 lap race.
Yes.
We thought we were so crazy when we signed up for it.
Yeah.
Oh, I was like, we just did something so stupid. We signed up for an 85 lap race.
Yeah.
So how was that first race?
Not as bad as I would have
I figured it was either going to make me or break me, and here I am. I'm still here.
Yeah.
competing in a 12-hour.
Yeah, so yeah, the 12-hour that's a beast of its own.
We went
but
from 85 laps to 12 hours.
yeah.
I know. The evolution of that, though, came from, I mean, you guys had a big help in that. PJ, I don't know how you got some of these carts to last as long as you. So,
That's my secret.
what I was going to ask, I had to ask,
Yeah,
what
I
is the
can't-
secret?
A
I
magician
can't-
never
what is the
reveals
You
secret?
know, I can't reveal that.
Because
you know,
even before
'cause-
battery telemetry,
Yes.
you were carrying carts that, so I could make it like 40
well,
laps.
There
And-
was. I did not finish one race. There was one race I didn't finish, and it was a half a lap.
Yeah, and I'm the polar opposite of you. There's like one race that I've actually finished back in the old school days of the endurance race. So, but yeah, so that's what I was going to ask is like, what is the secret then?
Well, I just try to stay out of contact. You know, you're wasting your battery. It was better to be the
Pushy.
push-e than
Than
the
the pusher.
pusher.
I totally get that. Okay, so it helps carry the cart momentum a little bit more, and they're
I'm gonna
wasting
use
their
your energy.
Exactly. Okay. Yeah, but even you wind up like we were commenting on the one race, and you qualified last, and I go, that's not
I
going
do
to last
that
long.
pretty often.
Right, and then you work your way up. Is it just taking advantage of like the mistakes of the drivers in front of you,
At
or is it?
100%. When we showed up here, we did arrive and drives. We did like 6 races one day. It was like, we have to work on our passing game.
Yeah,
And it was like they would pull us out first, and we'd pull over and let everybody else go. And I have to bank on your mistakes to get through.
it makes a really good driver. I mean, I've worked with some different drivers that have a tough time when they're getting bumped from behind. They lose sight of what they're doing if someone's bumping them, and I'm always like, whatever's happening behind you, to your mindset, PJ, is that they're trying to get by you. That's not your problem.
No.
Don't even worry about it.
No,
Actually,
not my problem
put
at
your
all.
I
cart
am
in front of
their
theirs
problem.
and
Yep.
let them bump you faster, and it works out.
Well, like I said, pusher right there.
Yeah. We're all competitive here, but you can walk up to Katie PJ at any time and ask them, you know, hey, what am I doing wrong here? And we all try to help that. And
Oh, yeah.
Well, we
I've
do
seen you
that-
guys do that.
We do that after a race anyway.
Oh,
Like
yes.
tonight, we'll finish and we'll go, I couldn't take that turn right, or I'm still working on that turn. Or,
Yeah. It's funny how it's turned into like its own little
I'll go
community.
back and
of
watch
people.
the race.
Do you?
Oh
Okay.
yes, I've watched everyone.
We'll go home tonight and rewatch the
and
race.
you know, I try to see. I don't know. I'm still trying to learn. I'm learning. You know, if I can get behind somebody faster and learn their line, I'm always willing to learn. You
Yeah.
know, when you stop becoming willing to learn, then you're done.
Percent. We are
sir.
waiting for March 15th.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yes.
We're just waiting for the day.
So
You don't think it's, but racing even for 30 minutes, it's physical.
That
And
race last week.
If you think it's
that
easy,
hurt.
come out and try it.
She is waiting for March 15th, and so are we.
yeah.
We're very excited about it. 12 Hours at Canton, the second running of the very first world's first indoor electric go-karting race.
That's right. 12 hours of it. We are the only ones that so far that I've ever heard of that can pull that off. And again, it's a huge credit. There's a ton of stuff that goes on behind the scenes, but a massive credit to James and this facility overall that we can actually do that. And the racers love it. They come in from all across the country.
Yeah, and for Jason for having a passion to deliver this kind of race and to sit there and race marshal it too, which is going to be the fun part.
Yeah, it all boils down to me. It was a crazy idea between us, but we want to showcase, the creativity of what we can do with this. I know EV is sometimes like electric carts, and you can have a lot of fun arrive and drive at facilities like that, but we wanted to take it one step further, and here we are. So hopefully the second running of it is, I'm expecting it to be an all-out awesome race. There are some really good racers locally here, but then someone's coming in from out of town. People really kind of changed up their schedule to get out here and do it, so it's turning into something great. But the stream side of it, I'm excited, so excited this year because, one, if you guys have followed along, we've added so much to our stream over the past year. These onboards, just the equipment we use, all that stuff. And then to do live giveaways is going to be awesome just to keep people involved and then have viewers like you guys win.
Yeah, you guys are what's helping drive that, so we appreciate you guys subscribing, liking the channel, and that kind of stuff. And I think the other thing we're going to be adding in that's going to be huge for us this year is replay.
Yeah.
So we
I'm
are
sitting next to this massive
we're-
computer thing that
I know that's one of the great technologies of modern sports is you have to be able to see what just happened because you missed stuff, and we are working hard to make that happen for the 12 hours. So hopefully we're not only the cutting edge of evolution of indoor go-karting, but also technologically as well.
Yeah, every little bit. It's what I love the most about racing is you take something and you just do it better and better and better, and there's no end to it. You just try to perfect it. And it's racing, so stuff will happen, but as far as the stuff we've added behind the scenes for the stream, it is just going to make it that much better.
Oh yeah, K1 Racer said, "How about a drone?" We can't. That's a big thing too, right?
Thank you to Ohio Drone Repair.
Yeah.
We will have really awesome drone shots. So yes, it was funny. I saw what they did with the Red Bull team and the drone. I was like, we did that a year and a half ago. It was an idea. I have a drone right here that we use.
Similar.
The idea of it, though, of drone shots
that's
in
true.
racing is going to be a huge thing. So we started on it about a year ago, and then finally we've got the right connections with Ohio Drone Repair. They're bringing in professional drone pilots, so we will have, bar none, some of the coolest indoor karting camera shots that there are.
Yeah, as we look at the number 3 of William Goss, I did have his helmet color wrong. I guess he's wearing a different helmet tonight, so that's cool. We also got Armand and Rachel back in this heat, so those are the ones that were separated by 0.01 seconds last time. We'll see if anything changes. And also, to your note of Ohio Drone Repair, so the name might be a little bit of a misnomer, but they deal with high-end stuff. They deal with big stuff. They're not just like take your drone and get a new blade on it kind of repair. They
do that as well.
Right, you're right. But it's not just what they do. Like they are, again, on the cutting edge of evolution of drones. So
they do anything from the giant fertilizer drones that are like the size of a small car to the little drones that we fly at home, blade repair, motor repair. I took my drone in there for gimbal repair.
They put a new camera on it.
They did. Yep. So they upgraded the camera.
Didn't know that could, I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, but they are contracted by, I guess, everywhere in the state of Ohio and beyond for federal drones, police drones, and rumor has it they're bringing one of their drones that the camera on it is great, but it also does infrared heat signatures. So
that would be awesome.
Yeah, we could see the hotline on the track, and it'll be really, really cool to see what they do with it.
Oh, that would be so cool, because at the end of the 12 hours last year, we walked out on the track, and the racing line was very defined.
It was sticky.
Yeah.
It was sticky with rubber. It was crazy.
So to be able to look at that with thermal imaging would be very interesting.
Yeah.
I'm willing to bet, the racing line would be very defined, but I don't know. Well, I guess we can find out.
Yeah, and also down in the pits, we're always watching battery temps and stuff, so having a flyover of what the hot carts would be is kind of something I'm thinking in the back of my head would be pretty cool.
That'd be cool. See what we can see heat signature-wise through the covers, I guess.
Rachel and Armand separated by 1,000th of a second at a 26.342 and a 26.343.
That's not where they want to be in the 26s now, but
it's a close time.
But they're very close. And William Goss not far off the path there, as we also watch the number 28 of Katie Wise. She's 26.7 so far.
And best it with a 26.5 on
there we
that
go.
lap.
Not
or
2/10 off.
26.56.
So, Jason, when you're running a qualifier, what are some of the things you can do to actually make these lap times go down as you progress through 14 laps?
It's really kind of racing I don't enjoy, I guess, because it's so self-critical. So you're thinking in different, the line you're supposed to take, or if you don't, and you wind up behind someone faster than you, and you follow their line, you're tweaking your own racing. So as Armand does a pass here, he just completed, going into this turn, you're looking for your braking zone, and you're feeling out the cart, and every cart's going to be a little bit different. They all run very similar times, but you just have to adjust your driving to it. So I'm thinking, as I'm qualifying, Rachel puts down a 25.9, so first 25 from her. I'm thinking, how can I make this kart smoother and faster? So you're just playing with how you're driving the kart on your fast line, adjusting where your turn-in is, where your braking zone's at, and just kind of getting a feel for the whole thing and perfecting it. You're really just perfecting your line in qualifying.
Yeah, and like you said, critiquing it. So you take a lap, you look at your time, you go, I think I can do a little bit better than that. Or if it's slower, you undo something you did, maybe.
Yep. A lot of these racers, too, they're so precise on how they run their kart that they'll know immediately if they mess a turn up. And I know in a lot of places where I brake wrong, or you see letting Katie by is a great move, because that'll help you, one, avoid Katie bullying her way through you,
right.
And two, a good basic line to follow, especially back here through the carousel. A lot of people have a tendency to hug that carousel wall. They'll come out wide and ride the carousel around, when in reality you come out towards the middle of the track and then come in against the wall on the
The driver's left.
driver's left.
Yep.
Yeah. We'll see if she does it again through
And
here.
Katie just did an interesting thing going to the back of turn 5 there. She was entering in mid-track.
Mhm.
And I've seen a lot of drivers modify this as time goes on. So the fastest lap time sometime at the beginning was set by hugging driver's left. Then it kind of moved to the middle, and now drivers are back to the left. And now it looks like Katie's still using that middle line. We're going to be able to see it right here. She exits 4 and then doesn't go all the way to the wall. She's actually going right there and then exiting really wide. Well, not as wide as I thought she would. She might actually be able to pick up some time, as Rachel Hart is going to 25.73. She was hovering right at the upper ends of those 25-second lap times, and now she's broken in the 25.7, just put a huge gap on her, between her and Armand. The only time they have to be concerned about so far was Marshall Miller, and let me grab that time. Wow, where did that race go? All right, Marshall Miller was a 25.747. So at this point, Rachel has bested Marshall Miller. So you got a 25.747 versus a 25.737.
That is close.
Yep.
White flag is flying.
Carter's got lots of space tonight to run the qualifiers. We only have 8 on track. Try not to keep it congested as somebody goes really wide there through the carousel. Number 35 machine of Jesse.
Rachel could not best her time. Let's see. She's got 1 lap to go on this.
White flag. You got one more shot.
It looks like she's probably going to run into traffic there of Jesse.
But Armand already coasting the lap.
I think he already had his 14th lap. I think he was one of the ones that...
So they're just letting everybody else go through then.
Yep.
So 26.069, his best. So Rachel Hart, provisional pole setter at this point.
Well, she asked for the fast cart, and the randomized cart draw gave her cart 11. Cart 11, cart 26, cart 5, cart 3, cart 30. I don't know. They're all fast.
That's right. It's how you drive it. I'll be able to tell you guys some more information about what we've been researching before the 12 hours, but for right now, it's top secret until the 12. So,
but it's pretty cool.
Yeah, stay tuned.
It's pretty cool. It's just one more way to get everything as competitive as we possibly can.
There's Rachel Hart in the number 11 machine as she unbuckles.
Provisional pole. Let's see. Everybody out on their second qualifying round.
But again, look at top 6, all underneath the 27. And Andrew, so close, 27.027.
Much better than his last time, so very, very close to that 26. Alexander, 29.196. Keep up the good work. You're almost there.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
We've told people about GP before, and they go, I don't know if I'm fast enough. That's proof right there. You just need to be around all these other drivers. That'll drop your times.
It will. It's that whole thing, and that's why, you asked if it was, nerve-wracking to get into these, and no, it's when you have a lot of people here, you wind up in a heat that you feel competitive in. Even at a 29, I've seen 27s and 28s, so you're about a second off, but in that heat race, you're also going to be learning from other people's lines. Use that to your advantage.
Looks like they threw us back on David Pons.
Yep.
Yeah, we don't touch on the randomizer tonight, but just to remind everybody, we do use a computer to have the drivers randomly select a cart number. It's not based on any kind of order. It's completely random to try to give them the best shot at, I don't know, the car that they want. What's the best shot at being equal equipment? I don't know.
Yeah, it's the fairest way to do it, really, because the carts, like I said, they all handle a little bit different from each other. There's no two that are the same, but they're very, very similar in what you can drive as far as getting a lap time. So the kart may handle a little bit different, maybe a little bit, I don't know, faster in the straight and a little wonky in the turns. But they all are so tight that a randomized way to pick your kart leaves out the thought that could be given to someone given a fast kart.
Yeah,
So it's the best way to kind of alleviate drivers thinking this kart was given to me or whatever like that. It's totally random. I think it is one of the best things we have done as far as the just overall the quality of how we run the events.
Yeah, because you know how it is. You got regular racers who become buddies with a track worker, and then you get
Mm-hmm.
accused of giving somebody a cart that they know is better or something like that. So it just eliminates that.
Yep. Yeah, it's a great way to do it.
Well, we're not going to see what songs David's going to be listening to this time.
Oh, bummer. Well, he's playing a song with his fingers, so that's fine. I know with I talked to David, and he's going after GP this year.
Yep.
So he will be at every event. I know it's tough with his work schedule, but little sneak peek, we will be hearing from David at some time here in the near future on Sidetracked.
Well, yeah, what do you think that is? What do you think the time frame is?
Probably 2 weeks, I would say. I know
Is it going to be before the 12th?
I'd say right before the 12 hours, yes.
Okay.
Because believe it or not, we've got Katie and PJ, and then I will just tell you guys who's coming next. That way, if you watch the stream, you get the sneak peek. We've got Armand Deligny coming up after Katie and PJ.
I was going to comment also on the Katie and PJ interview. I loved that because I just feel like if you're watching these cars go around, it's one thing. It's not very exciting. But if you get to know a guy like PJ or a girl like Katie, they can very easily become your favorite driver.
Yeah.
And you got somebody to root for. Now you got something to watch for.
There are all kinds of personalities that come in these karts and compete, and it's really cool for me to get to know even some of the people I've been around for a while. Just, interviewing them is really cool because you can ask them personal questions about how they got here, and personalities come out. And I know definitely I root for some people, and other people I'm like, oh man, I hope this guy gets in a fight or on on track in a fight with this person, because they're two totally different personalities, but their racing it almost comes out in their racing. Katie is very much an on-track bull in a china shop. She takes that. She loves that now. But she's just that way. And then you get her up against someone like Armand, who loves racing Katie, but Armand is a very strategic, precise racer. You don't think the two personalities would work together, but on the racetrack, they love it. So it's really cool to get to know everyone behind the scenes.
You're riding on board with Brendan Thomas right now. I was reminded this week that he was a competitor in the exhibition of speed last year. He actually finished first in the B main, I believe.
Yeah. Yep.
It was a great result for him, and it just shows what kind of speed he's got. So keep an eye on him. He also did really well in the GP last month. Where did he finish?
I don't remember.
Let's go find it.
As he gives himself a little bit of a gap there, and K1 Racer advertise. Help us advertise. Get us out there. Share it with your friends, your family. Get people watching, and it grows from there. YouTube is a crazy algorithm.
Yeah, the best thing you could do is watch, because we talk about the algorithm all the time, but the algorithm is basically just feeding you what the customer wants, and that is something that people watch a lot.
Yep.
So thanks for being here tonight.
Alex Haymaker on top so far, 2 laps in with a 26.724. Good to see Alex starting to compete in some of these. Bested by David Pons at a 26.315 on his 3rd lap.
Brendan Thomas was the 13th fastest, but he won the B main last month in GP. So as you're riding on board the number 16 machine of Greg Thompson.
Another name I'm not super familiar with.
Nope, me either.
Looks like he's ready to go with the K1 racing gloves on.
Check back overhead. We've got a couple guys that are
25 of Zach Triplett going against, who's that, Jim Johns in front of him?
no
16.
Jim has a black helmet, I believe.
Number 16 at Greg Thompson, actually.
There we
So
go.
we were just on board with them. They're going back and forth at it.
And he's going to
As-
pull off to the side for him.
Yep, Greg lets him by.
Oh, grade 5. Sorry. And now you know where the GoPros sit.
That's it. Relabeling everything, getting ready for the 12 hours of Canton.
Yeah. So will Greg just follow the number 25 and we'll be able to catch him? Run a little wide in the carousel.
He's trying to pick up a line off of him, it looks like, which isn't a bad idea.
Nope. We also saw David pull off to the side at the very beginning of the race. He will let everybody go before he started his hot laps. He sets a 26.2. Another thing about that 50 race challenge that he completed about the other day is you have to drive every car in the fleet. So there was only one car out of service, so he drove all 35 machines that were available that given day. So he now knows what it's like to drive every single machine on here.
And if you asked him directly afterwards which cart's the fastest, he will tell you they were all fast.
Yeah, he said none of them were like, hey, this needs to be pulled kind of thing.
Yep. There's a couple of handling, but, you know, tire wear and everything like that. We're trying to get everything ready for the 12 hours. Right before the 12 hours is this major maintenance schedule that we do. But everything is so close right now. It's a really good sign of what we have coming for us in 2 weeks. Which is scary to say still.
Yeah. Looking at the time of Alex Haymaker in the number 30 at 26.4, I don't think that's going to be faster than his previous lap or previous session. Go back a couple. Well, 26.6 was his fastest.
All right, so he's
improving
on that.
Yeah. David going purple again. Still not in the 25s yet.
Still warming the tires up. That was a rough line there. Looks like, oh yeah, he's scrubbing them in, warming everything up.
Yeah,
shooting for his 25s.
Giving himself a little bit of track space because he's got room behind to the number 19.
Of Brendan Thomas.
And he's going to back up to the number 30. And then make another go of it as he rounds the carousel. Technically turn 7, but we like to call it the carousel. Give a quick shout out to our new cameraman, Nate, who's giving you these great shots tonight. I told him, I said, it'd be great if you get real close to the driver so we can see their eyeballs, and he's doing that.
Yeah, great camera work.
Sometimes you forget that there are men and women behind the scenes to make this kind of stuff happen, and he's making it happen for us tonight, so appreciate it.
We already saw Alex's cameo on your camera swap with the GoPro.
I think this is on board with Jim Johns. He's looking in the back of the number 24.
Mark Hanna.
Jim Johns so far 26.9. He is trying to improve upon a 26.3. He's got some ways to go.
A couple of bumps on Mark. It's like one of them's got to give. Either back off a little bit or pass it.
Yeah, what was the phrase that PJ told us in the interview? It was either you're better off being pushed than being the pusher.
Yep.
Makes sense.
Yes, it does.
We all remember physics class and kinetic energy.
Yep.
You push somebody else through a corner, then you're just going to keep them going. Unless you can push them off in the opposite direction. But
yeah. Or bump them offline a little bit and make use of it. Maybe something we see here. Nope, not there. It's a classic place to do it, though, is Mark Hanna gives it to him a little bit in the qualifier.
This is probably the best action you can have during a qualifier right here.
This is great. White flag flies. Let's see what happens. As Mark Hanna slides in turn 1.
That is not going to help the track time.
No, it is not. We're after times here.
Oh, Jim's going to get by him.
Passes him.
I don't know. He gave him a hit from the side. He's going to slam him into the corner.
Back and gets him.
Apparently, he was worried about momentum and did not want to lose it through 4.
These guys are going for position in a qualifier. I love it. Well, all right, who's going to get it?
Wait until they get to the final.
I can't wait. I had a sneaking hunch that a couple of these final heats are going to be really fun to watch.
I don't know. As they were going through 3, he kind of slammed him to the right. But I kind of thought, well, maybe that was just turning the corner and...
Nope.
Apparently not.
All right, back to the pits we go.
But that'll settle it between car number 36 and 24. Great seat time for everybody tonight.
Yes, it is. Pulling into the pits here. check out our awesome track lights. We've got track lights like this all the way around the track with our displaying the yellow colors. I know sometimes on racetracks you can't really see, especially indoor, arrive and drive kart places, you can't always see the flag operator, the race director. So having these lights really helps everyone out because you're able to see track commands anywhere on the track and on the outdoor track.
Brandon Thomas, I was just looking at his time. He did improve over his first lap time. He had a 26.5 the first round go around, and the 26.318 was his most recent one, so that'll help him. Tenths of a second matter in every qualifier.
All right, let's see who we're going to ride on board here with.
That's Thomas.
All right. Thomas Gruber on kart 31.
K1 Racer said we'd love to have an event where all the league and endurance boost league people would all meet together. We do,
It is
actually.
called
The Exhibition of Speed.
It is fantastic. We get ready for 5 hours of racing and points that don't matter. No, I'm just kidding. It is an awesome. It is a good race.
I think by the end of the event we were less like, hey, the points don't matter anymore. But
oh my God, it was so much fun though because you get to race every single series that we have here, all in one night.
yeah, it really was. It was the most jumbled up mess of race formats we could come up with, and then a point system that was just as convoluted
just as complicated as anything. Oh my God.
And in all honesty, some of the drivers at the end of it were like, hey, you kind of need to work on the points. Okay, we'll do that. But it was all done in good fun.
It was, but they always said that the racing was so much fun, just the points were confusing. But yeah, so this year we're hoping to replicate that, do that again, but we're also hoping to bring in a twilight race, which would be a endurance race on the outdoor track. 12 hours style, but not 12 hours.
Yeah, not 12
hours. It'll
be
like a 4 or 5 hour race, something like that. We still haven't nailed all the specifics down, but we're trying to come up with these events. And what's up, Brian? How's it going?
Yeah, hey, Brian.
We're trying to come up with these different events that bring people in to try these different leagues that we have here. The Exhibition of Speed was exactly that. It was an exhibition of speed. It was so much fun.
We just wanted to show all the different formats that we could do in a racing environment.
Yeah.
And big thanks to the kind of drivers who are just like, hey, I'll sign up for this. Give it a go, and they did. And we hope that it's as fun next year as it was. We hope it's as fun this year as it was last year.
Absolutely. I think it will be, and especially just the way that we try to learn from our mistakes and not replicate them and throw them out there to the world. So we know that the exhibition was a big hit, so definitely come out and try that K1 Racer. It was a lot of fun. It's all 3 events wrapped up into one. But the points this year will be a little bit different, I'm sure. And now that we've run it once, we kind of know what we're getting into, so we'll try to expedite some of the racing and all that stuff. And it was a really good night, though. It was a lot of fun.
It did run quite a bit longer than we thought it was. We thought we were going to have about 3 hours of racing, and it turned into like 5.5.
Yeah. And actually, we have that because we did live stream that. So I believe you can go back and watch that.
Yeah, it's on there. The highlights are on there, and as well as the full event, too.
Yeah.
Derek came in to commentate it for us, and had a good old time.
Derek will be back for the 12 hours as well. We've got our 12 hours crew kind of hammered in and ready to go. Derek, great announcer, does motocross announcing, comes in, does go-kart announcing once in a while for us. So great to have him back on board. And speaking of on board, we've got Marshall Miller in kart 13. Lucky number 13. Let's see what he can pull with this kart. He was out of the gate 3 laps in a 25 in the last kart he was in.
Yeah. The kid can just adapt to anything.
Yeah. He really has. I mean, he came in as a pretty mid-pack driver, and then he was in here every day for a month straight.
Yep.
And then at the end of that, you say that begrudgingly.
No, I meant yes.
Inside story to that. It was kind of funny how that all worked out. But he was in here for a month straight.
Not because of Marshall. It's
no.
his.
Yeah. No, it was really great to see him in here for a month. He got done with that, looked at us and said, I figured it out. And the kid has been running 25's track record, since then. So whatever his secret is, and he's on FLBR Motorsports, one of our Primal Life Racing and FLBR Motorsports are title sponsors to the 12 Hours. He's on their team, and that includes him, Cash Felber, and Roman Felber. And those two kids in Formula 4, they race. That team is going to be a force to be reckoned with. So hopefully he can carry on his wisdom, and we'll see what he does live at the 12 Hours of Canton on March 15th, right here on Competition Karting. So we'll go with a hot lap with Marshall.
Yeah, because we want all of the secrets.
We do, and you guys get that on board with us right now.
I won't cut away to PJ just yet because I want to see what line he's running. But
same. Let's do that. Let's do a line comparison here. Let's run a couple laps with Marshall and then a couple laps with PJ and see how that differs.
Mainly trying to watch the feed as much as you can. I know his helmet is blocking it, but the feed are a good indication of what kind of thing and line he's running. Watch how he swings out here to the left and then hugs the carousel, holds that tight line. Again, track distance is not your friend. You're trying to minimize the track distance you can. You want to keep the car momentum up as much as possible, not lose or scrub speed or slide, but at the same time, you don't want to be going further around the track than you need to. And that's something that the discipline of onboard or indoor electric karting is a little different than some of your automotive disciplines.
Yes, it is. It's hard for me to adapt right off the rip.
Yep. Maybe he knows we're watching him. He's not going to set a sub 25 or sub 26 just so we trust. No,
3 laps
he's
in.
not.
3 laps in, 26.2. I think he's going for it.
Let's switch over here to PJ Mannypenny. Kart number 1.
Not too far behind Marshall.
Tyler jumping up to the top so far, 26.1. Tyler's on PJ's team for the 12.
See PJ down the straight.
Yeah, he jumped up a little bit.
Good break. Looks very clean through here. He's got a very early turn in into turn 2. I've seen a lot of drivers come out wide to that. I don't know if that was on purpose or he's just warming everything up, but good turn in through there.
Not running it out as wide. He did say he was working on this carousel exit there about a week ago.
I love these onboards too because you can really get a good picture of how fast these karts are moving. Especially in the outdoor track, you get a good perspective of it. But indoor,
yeah,
they're moving.
I think that's
really
why
fast.
most people are so surprised and they leave so happy is because you're sitting so low to the ground, you really get the feel of going very fast.
Yeah.
Even though you're on a very small, tight track.
So Tyler with a 26.066 and then Marshall immediately with a 26.062. So they are separated by a few thousandths of a second. Both of them running fantastic qualifiers.
There's Marshall now in the overhead. We'll follow along with him to see if he can run another purple lap.
Here goes through the carousel, nice and clean, onto the straightaway. What's he do? 25.953. He's got it dialed in now. Comes into some traffic. He's going to lay off the gas and let kart 27, powered by Thomas Eves, break away a little bit. Thomas running a 28.796. Not bad, improving on his time a little bit from the last one.
He's got to beat a 25.737, though. That's his target.
Who did that one?
That was Rachel.
Okay.
And Armand, 26.85. Let me see if that was his fastest one.
Tyler into the 25s at a 25.985. So Tyler's in the 25s, too.
Wow, look at him go.
Obvious difference in turns there between Thomas and Marshall right behind him. Kind of cool to see the difference of the line.
Yep.
Marshall with a 25.8.
Nope, Tyler, 25.809.
All right. There's an all-out battle here.
PJ not far behind. Still on the 26s, though.
Tyler just ran a 25.9, so a little bit off his last lap, but not bad. Or his best lap, I'm sorry. So Marshall comes down the straight. Ooh, 26 flat, so he's got room for improvement, but that is the cool part about GP. You get extra laps of qualifying.
Yep,
So
still got 4 more to go.
You've still got 4 more to go. Normal race being 12 laps, which is nice because you get plenty of heat in the tires.
You're watching in the green shirt of Jacob Ryan, the number 22. He is right behind Marshall.
Trying to hug that carousel. Looks like he's adjusting his pedals a little bit.
Keeping his head down, maybe for aerodynamics. I don't know. Maybe
Yep.
that's just the way he drives. Not
That's
sure.
an Armand thing. I actually asked him
Yeah.
about that. I was like, do you tuck your head like that on purpose? And he goes, yep.
He said it can't hurt.
Right.
You know?
Let's see here. Marshall's last lap was 25.883, so not a little bit slower than his best lap. Let's see what he can do here. 25.999, so still flirting with it, but can't get that last couple of tenths to drop Tyler and Marshall. Thomas Gruber jumping up with a 26.132. Nice lap.
I asked him before we came on the air tonight if he would allow me to mention that he is Pato Award's personal photographer.
Really?
Yeah. He
No
said-
kidding.
Yeah. So
Marshall, last lap burner.
25.6.
Oof.
Now, if that isn't a story of adjusting to the kart, I don't know what is. Because if he had given up from the beginning and he said,
Yep.
oh, this kart is not fast enough, he wouldn't have been able to do that. That is a significant time drop
Yes, it
in
is.
just 13 laps.
He's got that cart dialed in, so this is his last lap right here. Let's see if he can improve on it.
See, leans up. No, he almost knew that that wasn't as clean as his previous lap. Marshall Miller, 26.75.
Five. Tyler,
So that will
with
put him on pole position.
yes, it will. Followed by Rachel.
That's correct. And then Armand, I believe, second close. We'll know as soon as everybody sorts through here.
Thomas Gruber and PJ Mannypenny are so close to those 25s, and they are extremely competitive in the 26s. 26.098 for Thomas Gruber. And then PJ Mannypenny with the 26.104. And if you look at PJ's time and Thomas's, that was their last lap time. So that is their best lap and last lap. So that's last lap burners right there. They really dialed it in for their last lap. Everyone would say one more lap and I'd have it.
That's right. I'm looking at Jason Hall, who did hit 26.853 tonight. His last qualifier last month was a 26.974. So
Very consistent.
again, you just see guys, the more they run, especially around faster drivers, the better off they are.
Thomas Eves almost breaking into the 27. 28.082. So a couple hundredths off to the 27s. But again, I think that 27 to 28 range of final.
Oh, I love it. He's still got the K1 Christmas head sock underneath the helmet. That is great.
So we have one more qualifier.
No, that's it.
That was it. So
That's
now
it.
we're into the finals. Now we're into the mains.
We're done qualifying, guys.
All right. Let the action begin because we
On to
break
the
them
finals.
into. Are we doing 2 heats or 3 tonight?
Let me double check. I believe they have them set for 3. Yeah, they have them 3
3
groups.
finals. All right. So as we sort through the times here, we should be ready to go.
Yeah, we'll be able to tell if we made any math errors. Once the crew gets the time finalized. So actually we're gonna step away for just a minute, guys, and we're gonna wait for them to get that final going. Hang on with us. We'll be right back.
Alrighty. Welcome back. We are currently
Quick,
working
clear the table.
right.
Oh wait, radio.
Make it look like we know what we're doing up here.
Yeah.
So they have a math issue, I guess. They're just lining people up.
They just need to make sure people are in the right order.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
So, moment of delay because there's a lot of racers, but that's okay. These things happen with racing. So, welcome to K1 Speed GP. So, thank you to, I think we have 21 current viewers. What do we got going on in the chat? Let's catch up.
I think the last time we talked to Brian. Oh, I was going to talk about Brian being on the top 50.
Brian Hupp.
Big congratulations to him for the K1RS championship last year.
Yep.
We had K1 Speed had 3 drivers be on the top of all K1s across the board. And K1RS is based upon like how many races you run, how many people you beat, how many arrive and drive races you do, all that kind of stuff. And Brian was one of those people. So big congrats to him. as well as Rachel and Marshall Miller.
Mhm.
So it was good when we got the big banner to hang up on our wall that Canton was 3 of the 50.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Hey, that was in 3rd place last year. There's 3 people on it this year.
Yeah, keep the threes going.
I like it.
Were you
Cool.
really in 3rd place?
No.
Okay, we're not going to
I
talk
was
about
in
that.
1st place last year. We won't talk about that. Yeah, 1st place. That was a great one. But all leading to the road of what we're here for tonight, leading to the World Championship, National Championship, then World Championship.
Yeah, accumulate points tonight at the end of the year. So this runs all calendar year. So every first Sunday of the month, all the way through December, tally all the points together.
Mm-hmm.
Then you get to go on a state championship, which we believe we're going to have competitors from Columbus to mix in with our Ohio group, which would be cool.
Yep.
When you
Good luck to them.
when you advance to the championship for the states, if you do advance, then you get to go to nationals.
Mm-hmm.
Nationals currently slated for K1 circuit, whole different discipline, different karts, different track, everything.
Way different.
And when you're at nationals, the current structure, if they maintain it next year, will be if you win, you advance on to
Worlds.
Worlds.
Mhm.
Sorry, I lost
Yep.
the word.
No, you're good. So, yeah, Worlds following up. But, yeah, it's like you said, if they maintain the same structure, they've changed it every year since last year.
We think it's still going to be at circuit, and they honestly they hope it is too.
Yeah. It's a really, really cool racetrack with really cool karts.
I have gotten to the point where when I read the comments on their posts about K1 circuit, I do feel bad for them because honestly, it would be open if they could.
Yeah.
Like there's nobody there who wants a facility to just sit there idle. Like,
Yeah.
and it's a tough position to be in. You have to be diligent and very patient. It's brand new everything, and they just run into all different kinds of obstacles. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't
for them-
envy them for that position.
For them to put it on last year and even pull it off with everybody that showed up. This year, there's
Yeah.
a smaller number of people. Last year, there was an enormous amount of people because of the COVID backup. But it's if you do get a chance to drive it and you have to come to your GPs, your teen GP, junior GP, your adult GP, you got to go to a GP to be able to get there.
Mm-hmm.
It is well worth it. It is fantastic. I mean, imagine like your best gas competitive kart. Most people know what a competitive gas go-kart looks like, but electric and really backs it up. They are fantastic. The track is a lot of fun too. The track is really, really cool down there.
Yeah, we got to be one of the first people to drive those new cars on the new circuit.
Yeah.
And it was phenomenal.
Yeah.
I was blown away. And you know how much I love batteries. I was very carefully analyzing them, and I was asking them questions about them, like, what are these? You know, because we're out in the desert heat of 110 degrees ambient, and they're pulling many, many amps. I don't know what the rating is on the motors, but they are, 70-mile-an-hour go-karts on a high-speed track, and they just don't get a lot of cooling. And, with all the situations we've had here, I was very interested in what kind of stuff they were running out there, and they did a very good job with that battery spec.
Yeah, we've got a if you guys are curious about the track or want to learn more about it before you get there, we do have a 360 video. I think we are the only 360 video of that track so far on Competition Karting, so check it out. It's interactive, so open it up on your phone or on. I did it on my TV actually. I pulled it up on YouTube on my TV and controlled around.
You can
Yeah.
still scroll it?
It was
That's
really cool.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's cool. I know on the mobile device when you're holding it, you can pan and then you can look around. So that's taken from Rachel's kart, who was one of our representatives from last year, and
a really good line.
it is a good line. It's cool to see the track. But also did one of those start last to first kind of things. So not only you get to see the race, but you get to see her pass a bunch of people, which is really cool.
It was a really cool race, and that's what
Did
GP builds into.
They had a very hard tire, and I'm not sure if those are going to be changing or whether those are the specs, but you could just feel as she's going around the corners, just like the struggle for grip. And she did a great job of managing that, and that's why she was able to pass so many other people.
Yeah. Yeah, it was tough to get used to the grip level of those karts.
But it's cool to see the representatives from Canton advancing again to national championships this year, coming up at the end of June, because I think these guys have a great shot at taking
me too.
it. I think they do.
Me too. Yeah, they've already been there once. They've already driven the karts. There's not that many returning people from last year because of the way they broke down the series for state to state. So it'll be, I think we have a very good shot here with the representatives.
And this really will be the first year where your GP results are tying you into that national championship. And before, it was just K1 or S points. So it was whoever raced the most. Doesn't necessarily translate to the fastest driver. So I think this year, the people that are there are going to be more competitive and more adapt to the go-karting and competitive racing. So
Definitely. I didn't know. Are the teens running those carts?
they are.
And are the juniors running
The-
different carts?
The juniors are running different carts. They're going to be at another K1 facility.
Okay.
They kept the date on the calendar for that.
Mhm.
And then the teens and adults are going to be running at circuits.
Oh, they surprised changed the date for that part of it. The,
Yeah, so
it wasn't the whole thing. It was just that.
yeah, so
Oh, okay.
juniors are still going out at the same time.
Gotcha.
So,
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
K1 Racer is asking if they're going to build more of those tracks. I believe so. I think
You think
that's
so?
I think that's the intention.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I don't know that they would be investing as much into it, but that is just speculation. I don't have any inside knowledge or anything. I'm just a franchise owner. What did I know? So
How to build a better battery.
I don't know how to build batteries.
No,
we give all
data.
the we give the credit to Wes for that one.
Wes, oh my God.
We love Wes.
Yeah.
It was really and by the way, guys, we are stalling a little bit, but they are picking their cars now,
Yeah.
so we will be getting momentarily. You don't have to listen to us ramble the whole time. We met another guy named Wes that's helping us with our live stream on the overlay side.
Yeah.
And we're like, it must be something about the guys named Wes.
I know.
They're super friendly. They're very intuitive. They know their stuff. Man, they know how to program.
It's great.
cool.
I mean, think of the two Wes's in and of themselves. Like the most recent, huge thank you to Wes for getting us hooked up with the scoreboard. He actually builds the scoreboards for IMSA, Porsche Cup, and stuff like that on TV. So we've got a real professional racing scoreboard now for our live stream for the 12 Hours of Canton, which is I'm very excited about. It's a really cool scoreboard. The interface is really nice.
It is cool. It's going to help with our sponsors, but it's also going to help us with an event that takes place over 12 hours. That was a big thing. So.
Yeah. Has to be dialed in. You have to know positions
Yeah.
over the course of 12 hours. Like a 12-lap race, you could pretty much go back and say, okay, this person was here, this person was here. It'd be okay. But over 12 hours, there's no way you'd be able to manually track that. So it's really important to have a really good scorekeeping system and a good timing line that's matched for the track.
And hopefully it all goes well. I mean, we may sit here a couple weeks from now talking about the difficulties we had, but we'll be as transparent about it as always. I mean, that's
Yeah.
what we're here doing is
Well,
we go in with the best intentions and see how it goes.
sneak peek. So batteries was something we've brought up in previous streams of being on our pins and needles about, which we still are in a way, but we're also on Plan B, which is a very solid Plan B, and a very big shout out to Cart One
Yep.
for helping us. We've got the same batteries we ran last year. I'm comfortable with the batteries we had brand new last year.
Yep.
They are shipping us 20 of those to replace the carts that are currently under amperaged. So
Yep.
huge thank you to that, because that just takes a load off of us. But trying to get everything as equal and as fun as we can. That's the name of the game.
Let me see. I don't know if this is still active. Nope, it's not. Sorry, wrong button. But
I'm fighting with my foot down there.
yeah, with the battery ratings, it wasn't necessarily that all the batteries are not capable of running, but the reporting side of it is not accurate, and I don't want to give teams
A disadvantage.
a disadvantage
of that, yeah.
of not having accurate battery information.
So we give battery telemetry to all the teams. Comes out on a website the day of, and you can see not only your battery but the competitor's battery. So when you're going for a cart swap, there's 4 carts that you can choose from, and the teams look at the carts and see the data. But it also on track, you're in real time able to communicate with your team from your pit boss that's managing the batteries, looking at your battery voltage when to pit. Because if you run your battery all the way till it dies on track, the race doesn't stop. It continues on around you. So you lose, on average, 3 to 4 laps if you kill a battery on track. So the pitting strategy is extremely important for the 12 hours, and that's why we just try to keep everything, like James says, if it's not reporting the correct way, it would be a very big disadvantage to the teams. But something you can see, yeah, here we go on the
That's what I was looking for.
Yep.
Yeah, those metrics are the important ones. SOC is state of charge, pack voltage, overall voltage, and then the cell temperature. So the state of charge is the one that kind of became in question because the BMS, the battery management system. Okay, you guys want to do your tech talk tonight. Here
Go
we go.
for it.
I guess this is.
Yep.
I end up getting to do tech talk, so whatever. Battery management system is the computer inside the battery that keeps track of what the battery is doing. So it watches how much energy you put in it and then how much energy you extract. And it makes a calculation based upon what it sees over time to give you a state of charge. And so what's happening is the BMS is basically misreporting. So it sees 10 amps drawing out of the battery, and it sees 14 amps being drawn in. And it doesn't know what to do with that. And it just basically derates the whole battery to the point where some of our batteries are showing like 1 amp hour out of 60 available. Well, it's not true.
Right.
So it's just a miscalculation of the BMS. We've asked for ways to clear that because, it's stored in memory somewhere in the battery chip. However, Texas Instruments is the manufacturer. They don't give us a way of doing that at our level. So it's more of a board level thing. Because you're not supposed to be able to do that, you're not supposed to need it. And they just said, don't worry about it. Well, not they, I mean Texas Instruments said, don't worry about, resetting this. So
Yeah, it's really cool just to see how deep James and Wes across the street at Ability Business have taken these things where you're at the point where you're calling the direct manufacturer of the manufacturer of this part and saying, hey, I need access to this. And they're like, what are you doing with it?
Yeah,
well,
that's what they said.
We're trying to improve it. And
yeah. Well, in the same token, that same BMS is what watches the cells to tell when the battery is too low and it goes into shutdown mode. And so originally the battery was programmed for like 2.8 volts per cell for 2 seconds. The problem with that is, how we have those split packs? Well, it misreads between the right and the left-hand side.
Oh.
So it's not really getting 2.8 volts. It's not dropping that low. So we were able to reprogram the thresholds, thanks to Wes, to 2.6 for 2 volts or for 2 seconds, and allow us to let the battery run longer. It's not hurting the battery because it's not really getting to 2.6 volts. That normally would be a danger zone. It's just because of the misreporting.
So huge thanks to Cart One for helping us out with that, because we really want a very competitive, very fair race, and it's the name of the game with battery operated anything. Is you have to have peak condition batteries for everything to go as smooth as possible. So I think we're going to start out with the C main here, right?
Yes, we are.
So we've got Jason Hall, Andrew Warner, Forrest Sowers, Gavin Rice, Brad Cool, Thomas Eves, and Alexander Eves.
So a bunch of people we're not familiar with, but we're very glad they're here.
Yes.
So we're going to do our best to try to give you guys inside information.
As much as we can.
As much as we can.
So they're gridding up right now, so they're just all trying to line. Thomas is trying to give position probably to someone who needs to pull around in front of him. But they will line up on the grid, and that's another great thing about these track lights, as you see the reflection here in his helmet. No matter where you're at on the grid, you can see the track lights, and it is a really good way of being able to see when green flag flies.
That was an idea that Jason had last year. It's like, hey, can't we just do like real track lights? Yes, we can.
And with James's brains and ability, we got them all wired together, and now we have a controller where we can make them do anything from red flags to rainbows. So it's pretty cool.
Yep, red flags to rainbows. I like it. Jason Hall sitting on the podium, on the pole position for this race. Gonna have 7 drivers in the heat.
And all of these times, and I don't know what the times wound up being, but all of them are pretty close, within a second of each other, or 2 seconds of each other. So it'll be a cool race to see. It's always different for a racer going from, driving by yourself and you're just, being polite, trying to find your room and work on your line. Very individualistic race is qualifying. Now you're moving on to no bars hold.
Get to the front.
That is it. That is the name of the game.
Always really nervous when we've got newer drivers about the feet on the pedals. I heard the track workers conveying that. Just keep your feet off the pedals. You cannot press them until you see the green light.
I think that's Gavin Rice there with his feet all the way off the pedals.
We want to make sure everybody gets a good, clean start.
As
got a little bit of a jump.
Yep.
Check back here in the back of the field. We're on top on Thomas Eves, and we'll switch over here to cart number 4, who's Brad Cool, the coolest guy in the field.
That's it. Point it down a little bit, but get a good view of what's going on.
But that's it. We have a good start. We're on our way.
Jason Hall out in front. It's got a pretty good gap behind him to Andrew there, so that'll be all right. Let's see what the gap of the field looks like if we
And so the thing with this kind of race, with it being 16 laps, is you may not get a lot of opportunities to pass. However, it is about how consistent can you be.
That is it. And we see the number 2 and the number 7 of Andrew and Forrest going at it here. Looks like Forrest is trying to find his way through on Andrew in this back.
But their gap is going to open back up until 7 goes wide a little bit.
Coming through the carousel. Good place to gain on someone. There you go. Forrest looking on the inside.
They're going to look side by side down the front straightaway. Andrew going to hold his line into 7 as they push a little sideways. Forrest reminding him he's still there. Oh, he's going to look on the inside of 2, but that's a tough one to do if you can't handle in 3. There we go. Now what are they going to do into 4?
This is a crunch point.
Andrew's got the outside. That's not the great spot to be in there, so he's going to have to give that spot back.
You got the 3
that's
of Gavin.
okay.
Gavin Rice right behind him, though, in a good position with these 2 fighting.
This is where you start making calculations. Okay, if he's making a mistake there, can I capitalize on it next time around? You got a few laps to try to figure that out. Jason Hall going purple with a 26.9. They go side by side again into turn 2.
And all this,
they're trying to push sideways.
There we go. Forrest into the wall.
That's going to allow Forrest another opportunity into 4, but it's going to be on the outside again. Oh, but he could have the inside of turn 5. That's what he was looking for.
Yep.
But now 7, going to look on the inside, but not enough room to make him squeeze. Andrew will get squeezed wide, and that will put Forrest back into second spot, moving up 1 from his start spot.
There is quite a gap, though, between Forrest and Jason, and that's what I think the field, looking at the field overall, you see these gaps starting to form as we ride on with Andrew as he meets the wall there.
Again, that consistency is the big thing we're looking for. This is the challenge. If we saw what you can do on a single lap, but can you do it consistently? That's the challenge of Challenge GP.
That's it.
Looks like he's going to have Forrest is going to have a pretty good gap on him this time around. As we check back on Thomas Eves as well, he's running in the 5th spot, car number 21.
A little bit of a gap to Brad there. Definitely can make that up.
Yep, we got Brad who's got gap in front of him as well. I'd say most of the cars
are spaced out
pretty well.
Yeah. Jason's got a pretty good lead on everyone, though. If we get an overhead shot of everyone, looks like he's way out to pasture with everyone.
Yeah, let's look at the gaps here as we've got the number 2 of Forrest. Looks like he is got a ways to go before he can catch Jason at number 35.
Jason already probably at the carousel. Wow,
Jason's
half the
rounding
track.
the carousel.
And that's
not him.
Alexandra?
Yep, it's Alexandra. So I think that's Jason behind her.
Yeah, so Jason
almost going to lap traffic in the 16 laps. That's impressive.
And
she's going to pull off to the side.
Little bump in the corner there, but makes his way by.
Good car handling there through 4.
And they have 16 laps of this, which is a great final race. Plenty of racing left to go. But everybody looks pretty spaced out overall. I mean,
yeah, this is the view out of the front of the number 35, Jason Hall, who is your leader, scoring 8 laps so far of the 16, as Forrest goes purple now with a 26.8.
Now, if Jason keeps running those 27s, Forrest, at a second faster than him, would be able to catch up to him. But let's see if Jason's able to turn that heat up a little bit with a little bit more open track.
Yeah, I think Jason got caught a little bit with that lap traffic, but
yeah. Andrew Warner in 3rd.
Run a little wide back there. Jason's going to go purple after that lap. Check down the back of, literally the back of Brad Cool. And also go on board with Alexandra.
Little bump there. Still getting the hang of the track. Newer driver, so she is still working her way, trying to find the line.
Yep, still trying to get a little bit of momentum going through the corners. Maybe using a little too much brake, but that's okay. This is the time to learn all that stuff. Jason Hall, still your leader after 10 laps.
Yeah, he's got plenty of room. Probably catch up that lap traffic there, but if I was in front in this race, I would just be managing that gap, working that down.
Look at the number 3 of Gavin. Haven't talked too much about him, but I believe he was maintaining the spot he started in.
Yeah, I believe so. And we see Jason coming up to the back of him. So that'll be the second of the lap or the back markers that he passes. And turns in his fastest lap so far of a 26.7.
Andrew sliding sideways, is looking at the back of number 6, Alexandra.
And she moves out of the way a little bit.
Oh, is he going to squeeze her down into 1?
Yep.
Oh, he's going to go way sideways into turn 1. A little bit of flare. That's what we call it, throwing into turn 1 sideways. Remember that movie, Office Space?
Yep.
Your pieces of flare? Well, that's turn 1 right there. Let's see what Jason is doing with his lap traffic in front of him. Going to do a clean pass into turn 3. Looks to his left a little bit before he heads into 4. That's a very smart move. You don't want to pinch somebody into 4. That kind of hurts when you get shoved to the outside. As we're now on board with Brad again.
There's something I noticed about some of these newer drivers, and if you watch, these onboards are great shots of it. Of sometimes, if they go back and rewatch this race and watch some of the onboards of some of the faster drivers here, you can watch their pedal work, but also how they're turning the steering wheel.
Yeah.
And I see a lot of people coming into a turn, braking into the turn, and it's really, you want to get your braking done before you turn.
Yeah, the cars are so light. They don't like having not only multiple instructions, but they also don't like turning when you're on the brake. It's offloading the rear tires, and it's putting too much demand on them. It just overdrives the rear.
Yep. Brad certainly calmed down his steering quite a bit since when I saw him last, but it's just something to notice when you watch the onboards of some of the faster drivers. They're very smooth with it. Brad clipped that turn 1 a little bit. Jason going a 26.684, fastest lap of
And
the
that'll be the
race.
checkered flag for Jason Hall. He will take the C main tonight. Best time was the next to last lap. 26.684, I believe, was his best time. Now waiting for the rest of the field to come across the timing line. Congratulations to Jason on taking the C main tonight.
Forrest Sowards in second, Andrew Warner in third, followed by Brad Cool, Thomas Eves, Gavin Rice, and Alexandra Eves.
We have 2 more mains to go. You'll have the B main next, and then followed by the fastest guys of the night in the A main. They will park the cars, hop out, and send the next round off onto the track. We got 8 drivers in that round as well. Congratulations to Jason right there. A nice high five from his teammates.
That is the fun
Or
of
competitors, I should say. Fellow competitors.
the fun of GP is stuff like that, man. You just
Yeah.
you go out, you have fun, you like who you're racing with, and even if you lose, you still have fun because you go out and you're racing for position. It's just it's a whole. If anyone's ever raced anything, it's more fun when you're racing for position like that.
It is. We kind of joked about that last live stream about most people do want to come and do position-based races. Well, here's your opportunity. You just saw it right there. And then when you come back in a couple months, we'll have the outdoor track open, so you get to learn a new track, essentially.
Yeah.
You got new braking points, new turn-in points, new things to worry about.
I love that it's after the 12 hours, too. It gives me something to look forward to.
Yeah.
Like, I can't wait to try it.
Yeah. And then we mix it up with reverse as well. So we will do GP at some point reverse.
Yeah, they did the state championship reverse. I know that was one of their surprise things they threw in there. That was pretty cool.
Here's the important rule if you're new to K1 Speed Canton. You can run the reverse track anytime on a arrive and drive basis. However, you need to have a sub 27 second lap time. So you just need to prove that you can handle the car and you can go quickly. Because off to the left-hand side where those cars just went through, turn 4, that is wicked in reverse.
It is. Do you remember the first time you drove reverse outdoor and you saw that coming up on you, coming through the doors?
You're
and
going
you
full
realized,
speed, and then you have to make, I don't know how many degrees that is, but it is a hard right-hand corner.
And the way you set yourself up for it, like as we got used to the speed of the cart going backwards like that, it is so fun.
Yeah, it is. It's super challenging because some of the cars you want to let off and coast and kind of whip the car through that turn 4, and then other ones you actually do need to brake.
Yeah.
But you're coming in so fast, it's hard to do a brake because it's very easy to lock up and overdrive the car, and so a whole new challenge in reverse, especially outdoor.
It's another awesome thing. A huge, huge thank you to James when he did this place. Is one of the things he stipulated when he built this was saying you wanted to run reverse, right?
Yep.
So you set it up that way with the springs and the barriers. So we are able to do that here, which is another unique thing at K1 Speed Canton.
I remember our construction manager looking at me and he goes, "Why would you do that?" Well, we want 2 different tracks.
Absolutely.
If you haven't noticed, looking at the track, it's bolted into the concrete. So it's nice from the standpoint of a maintenance perspective, but you can't change the track very easily.
No.
Well, unless you want to put 1,000 holes in the concrete too.
Yeah, and you don't want that. And it is really cool, the variations that we've done, but we've also added that, like I said, that new pit lane area, which will also work as a joker lane for Boost League and that. So,
and if you're just joining us tonight, thanks for coming along. Make sure you hit that like button for us. This is Jason. I am James. We're with Competition Karting. We primarily follow all the events here at K1 Speed as far as the major sporting events and stuff. This is going to be the home of the 12 Hours of Canton. So if you've never seen a 12-hour race before, this is the place to watch it next Friday.
Yep.
As we should cut back to the action
we
here.
go green. All right. Good timing. Let's see what's happening. Looks like a rowdy bunch up front. Brendan, Jacob,
Jacob
Katie,
is now
Katie Wise in third. Oh, boy.
Jacob's really giving the heat to Brandon Thomas. I think he got a good start. Very aggressive.
Katie's sitting there in
Katie's
third
going to
place.
stick her nose in there going into 5.
She is going to look for any gap.
And she made a smart move by getting back in line.
And hugging that carousel. Look at her. She's going to block this guy out to that turn, hopefully. Nope.
And
she's
what's
not going to make it. On the inside.
That's going to keep her on the inside of turn 1. It's going to be a little messy. No, they did it very well.
Katie is going to capitalize on any mistake these guys make.
Jacob is trying to go on the outside, but Katie's going to take the inside of that one. And she's going to hold that spot. She gets spun sideways, but she's going to be able to continue in that direction as long as she holds line. Oh, they're really giving her the beans back there in turn 5. Let's stay with that.
Let's stay with that group. Oh, my goodness gracious.
That is a hard slam by Jim Johns. That's the second GP in a row that he's gotten hit. If we could just back up just a little bit with the camera, get a little bit wider shot of what's going on here.
I want to see all this action
up here. Yeah, this is great action here from our B main. Now he's really giving Jim Johns a push on the outside.
Yeah, now he's winding up there. He's getting pushed outside.
But that's now going to separate positions 1, 2, and 3 with a nice gap. They battled it out hard, and then Brandon held his spot that whole time.
Yep, so Brandon's created a bit of a gap. Katie's going to go chasing after him, followed by Jacobs. That's the gap there. And then in the back here, we've just got an all-out battle 4th through 8th.
As I just looked up at Katie Wise getting that purple 27.0. That's not particularly fast, but it's the fastest of the race so far.
And she's on the hunt for first place, so she can whittle that gap down a little bit at a time. She'll be all right, but she's coming under pressure from Jacob, I saw.
Let's check onboards as we look on with John, who's in the number 12 machine. All these guys, 36, 34, battling it out. And we'll also switch over to Jacob Ryan, who's looking at the back of Katie Wise in the number 19. Jacob just went purple as well. Track times will continue to drop as the race goes on. But it also tells you that they're running pretty clean, too. You can't run purple if you're sliding sideways.
Looks like John's got his hands full here.
Wow. Going to the outside.
That was a good clean sweep. He's looking back behind him, making sure everything is clear. And he's got a train behind him.
Jacob's going to look on the outside of 4, but he's going to give Katie space. Katie's going to maintain that line we talked about earlier down the middle of the track.
Katie, when she
but I think Jacob's going to have more momentum on there because of the way she took turn 5.
Yep.
And he's now going to get squeezed. That's going to cost him. He's not going to try to give up that spot, but the number 30
Zach
is going to go down the inside of him. Jacob's going to punt him to the outside.
A little tip of the tail there. I don't know. This is GP rules. Now Jacob's going to have to go after Katie.
Yeah.
Katie, when she gets in a situation like that, is very defensive, though. It is hard to get around.
Good job with Zach, though, is looking at the opportunities and trying to capitalize on them while the two of them were trying to battle it out. Now we've got a significant gap. We'll check back here on John, see what his battle looks like as he's looking down the number 34. Well, a little bit of sideways action there. That's going to slow you down. But everything continues clean as we now look at a track stoppage.
Let's look overhead here because I think race direction is going to make a correction to a pass. I know in GP you're supposed to be half a kart length, and I've seen a few passes so far that were little rough.
They have the opportunity to give the position back, and if they don't, that's what leaves them in this position. Yeah, they are. They're making a correction back there in turn 5. Who are they putting up?
I believe that's the Zach and Jacob.
Oh, that was the battle we were looking at, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I would agree with that maneuver there. That to me is the right call.
Yep.
That turn where he just kind of
we were both kind of silent there as we kind of looked at each other and like, There we go.
All right, now we're off. Now let's see with Jacob behind, or with Zach behind Katie again, who was right on her tail. Let's watch the 3 of these karts.
This gives Jacob another target. See if he can get that position back after losing it.
He's already closed up that gap quite a bit. Katie's running a little bit wide on that.
Yeah, Katie does like to slide sideways in 2 and 3.
Yeah.
Well, maybe doesn't like it, but she does drive that way.
Now she's going to start feeling the pressure and drive a tighter line here, but I think this is where the action is going to be.
And you're watching positions 2, 3, and 4. Brendan Thomas is just checked out at this point. He has finished 9 laps of the 16.
Yep. So
you can see the gap as he's already going around 3, and then Katie in the bright yellow shirt, they are battling it out.
Yeah, I think the fight for the podium here is Katie's on the inside, blocking him out as Zach is trying everything he can. Bumps Katie a little bit wide there, just on the outside of Katie. Oh, as Jacob sticks his nose in there and punts him wide a little bit, Jacob gets squeezed out. Zach's holding his position for now, but Katie is, like I said, one of those drivers that's really tough to get around.
Yep. She talked about this in her interview about, she's like, if you're behind me, that's your problem.
Yeah. So let's see if now that they have a little bit of clean traffic, they need to work together to get around Katie. Yeah. I don't think the one of them's going to do it.
Well, and they're just allowing Brendan to check out, too, as he continues to gap the field.
Katie's starting to create a little gap for herself, too, which is good. Running a 26.3, so the fastest lap of the race now. And as Zach and Jacob just keep going at it, and they are really, really hurting themselves by doing this because they need to work together to catch Katie. I know Zach and Jacob are fighting for a podium position right now in 3rd place, but
Katie going purple, so
Katie's running away from it, and I don't blame her.
There we go. She's trying to get down into the lows 26s. This is what it's going to be like for her 12 hours here in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, big gap there. The rest of the field really separated. It's only the positions 3 and 4 that are battling it out back there.
Yeah.
As they now look at it going through 4.
And they've only got 4 laps to put it together, but I have a feeling they are going to it's the battle for 3rd place now.
That's right. As we're going to be looking at 3 laps to go this time by.
There's so many.
I can see Jacob trying to look to the inside of turn 1, but he was smart enough to know that he didn't have enough space. But see, that cost him in turn 2. He ran wide, and now his gap has been put back to where it was. So it wasn't beneficial to him.
Jacob catches up on him so much in this back section.
He does.
Every single time. So Zach's mistakes hurt him in the back section, but he's able to maintain a gap in the front.
This will be white flag.
Oh,
nope, this is lap 14. Yep. Sorry.
So everybody else is gapped out, which is good, but these two, this is for the final podium spot in the B main. Katie created herself
Jacob's
really
going to take a look at the inside again, but nope, Zach's going to defend.
Same move.
He's got more momentum coming out of 5, and that's really what's helping him. He's just got to keep it clean the rest of the lap.
Yeah.
Jacob taking the shortcut to turn 1. That's not usually beneficial because see how it costs you in turn 2 when you run wide.
Yep, last lap, so let's see if Jacob can get by him. If Zach makes a little mistake back here, Jacob will capitalize on it, but not enough room as we ride on board with Jacob.
I should have brought you the onboard sooner. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
And they're going to be looking at the checkered flag. Brendan Thomas is going to take the B main, followed by Katie Wise and Zach Triplett as Jacob completes the full circle around turn 1. Talk about flair. He's got it tonight. Or frustration. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that was tough.
It's great to see him battling it out, though. In a clean manner. Once they got that position straightened out, that's really that was good, clean racing.
And that is frustrating sometimes as a driver when you have to give your position back forcefully, but it boils down to you just want an even race. You know, if you take someone out into a turn, just point it back and you know, keep racing. You'll find another weakness. You'll find another spot where that driver messes up and you'll be able to capitalize on it, but nobody likes to get taken out.
We didn't see much from Jim Johns as once he got through the first couple of laps, pretty much everybody in front of him got separated out, so he's going to finish in the 5th spot, number 8 car. It'd be interesting to see what Jacob thinks about that race. What, you know, does he think it's competitive and good, clean racing, or is he frustrated about it?
Yeah.
We'll try to find out here from his reaction as he gets out of the car.
Sometimes you can hear on the GoPros what they're saying.
Yeah.
Good race from everybody as we gear up for the pinnacle event of K1GP Challenge Adult League with the A main coming up. And it is a big A main.
And look at that top 5. Marshall, Rachel, Tyler, David, and Armand.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
No, I wouldn't have. I couldn't do the math fast enough, but I think we're going to see a very interesting race with those times being so close.
PJ too is one of those things. PJ William down there, followed by Thomas Gruber. It's, I don't know. PJ is a very good driver. So
but let's look at. I mean, yeah,
he is separated.
He is starting in 7th, but yeah, I want to find his qualifying time because
I know these drivers aren't separated by very much.
He
at
did
all.
a 26.1 and a 26.1. So it was a 188 and a 104. He's so consistent.
Yeah. These drivers are very close in time, so it's either going to be a race where people get all excited and there'll be some gaps and it'll be a kind of walk-away race, or it'll be the type of race where, because everybody's so close in time, it's going to be an all-out fight for first place. And that's what I think it's going to be.
We're hoping for a nice, fun, competitive race.
Competitive GP. Listen, everyone on track, it's a GP race, okay?
Yeah, that's true.
Ooh, backwards, facing Rachel Hart from Marshall Miller.
Now you can really listen in.
Speed 3?
Oh, Speed 3.
If you're new to the cars, Speed 3 is the public arrive and drive. Speed 4 is the pro speed.
That's right. And you earn pro speed as you drive on track. So come out a couple times, control the cart safely, don't smash into walls and other people, and you'll get Speed 4 too.
Yep.
This will be a good shot because it's always good to see what's from our angle, because Marshall can't see this on his cart. It's always cool for people to see what's going on behind and how much pressure that person has. And with Marshall out in first, Marshall, I've seen him run a few GPs so far. He's either going to run away with it or there's going to be a fierce battle on his tail. Armand is one of those people too, riding on board with him. You see the 12 hours of can't sticker on his helmet.
And we saw what he did last month or last 2 weeks ago with the Endurance Series.
Yeah.
He was the most consistent driver under the 25 seconds. And he doesn't have a lot of laps tonight to make up for it, but why is he
He got himself stuck on the wall.
Come on, Armand. You've driven these cars more than that.
Cart 27, you can see with the livery of the 12 Hours of Canton, that is our official not only pace cart, but that is the official cart that we use. So everybody has the same cart for qualifying. Each team has the same cart for qualifying the week of the 12 Hours. Very cool livery on that cart.
Alex Haymaker.
Yeah, down in 10th, Alex Haymaker. I think he's going to have some work to do, but I think he can. I think he'll work his way through the field here.
It'd be interesting to see what he can do as he looks at his hands. Probably hurting a little bit. He does drive a lot here on the weekends, so I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. He should grab a pair of gloves.
Yep. Let's see who else. And then back to. Yep, we already did Marshall Miller's on board.
Yep, so GoPro 1 is PJ Mannypenny.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And
Is he in the number 10? No,
He
PJ
is.
is in the number 29.
we still have a GoPro in the pits, actually, which we still have time to throw on a cart if we wanted to. I believe that's GoPro number 5. Trying to get all the onboard action we possibly can for you guys.
That ship has sailed, though, so I don't know if we're going to have that one.
That is true. I love this shot backwards from Marshall Miller,
It is-
looking at the field.
It is my favorite shot.
And it's always so cool to see the person on pole has to really, really know what's going on behind them, but they can't, and we know
Yeah.
because we get to see it.
Well, Marshall will just focus on the road ahead.
Yeah.
I can see that in his actions when he drives.
That's a good choice for GoPro 5. We did end up slipping it on, and we are going to be on with David Ponce for the last one. We'll get that here to you guys momentarily, but this is going to be the shot for the green flag.
Make sure your feet are off the pedals.
As Adam yells, "Feet off the pedals," we wait for green. Momentarily.
An eerie silence falls over the track.
It is.
Right before the green
It's
flag
always,
flies.
they are glued to those lights,
Yep.
waiting for them to go green.
It'll hurt your retinas staring at them. Here we go. This is the event you've been looking for.
The A main.
The A-Main GP March. And they're off. Marshall takes a defensive line immediately off to the right-hand side as he goes through turn 1.
Rachel looking
Everybody
right
off to a
behind
good
him.
start.
Top 3, top 4. Top 3 are stacked up pretty good. Rachel followed by Tyler. Tyler is all over the back at Rachel right now. And if those two work together a little bit, they will be able to get around Armand, but they got to be thinking.
This is always interesting to see the back shot as they go through 4, but man, that's really clean. Everybody following in a train right there.
Yep. Now, if they can work that train and use that momentum to catch up to Marshall, that is going to be the name of the game as we ride on with David Ponce behind Tyler, Rachel, and Marshall. Tyler
trying to look on the inside of Rachel.
Not a good move because it puts you on the outside of this turn.
Rachel
humps
knows
the
that,
inside.
so she's going to also defend a little bit to the inside as well.
David just sitting back here watching
Oh, Tyler's
the
going to
action.
look on the inside. That's not going to move, but except it's going to help David Pons as he slides through.
Every single time. I try to tell drivers, don't make that move. The person behind you is going to take it.
As we're-
Armand
Armand
sliding on the
also
inside
trying to
of
squeeze
one.
through.
Oh,
He's going to take a very tight line into 2 to try to keep his front bumper right up against the number 14 of David Pons. David now has Rachel in his sights as Marshall Miller is checked out with a 26.2 fastest lap. Oh, Armand's
David
going to get
points it
pushed
by.
sideways. That's going to give Tyler another window, another opportunity.
so David made a bad pass there and is pointing Rachel by, but that wasn't the spot to do it, so he knows just to wait a little bit so he can let her slide by.
As PJ Mandypenny is sitting back here watching the whole thing unfold. Oh, the number 10 really got stopped there.
They were
as
stopping the field.
field is slowing down.
Yep, so they were stopping the field to adjust that position.
That's because Rachel got pushed sideways. She's facing the opposite direction in turn number 2, I believe.
So
I just missed David Pons waving.
I think they're going to put Rachel in front of David, which would make sense to me. Because David was pointing her by, but that was a bad spot to do it, and then Rachel got swallowed up in 2 and 3. But
Let's pan back for a second and let's see what's the gap up to Marshall. Kind of lost track with him because he checked out so quickly. Let's keep going to the right. Keep going to the right. Everybody's in turn 4. And guess who's all the way down in turn 5?
Marshall has got quite the gap.
Dang, that is the advantage of being the pole setter. You avoid all this traffic back
Yep.
here.
And I was wondering, though, because once Rachel, David, and Armand got lined up, those 3 drivers are going to work together because they know they have no chance to catch Marshall unless they just race clean. So if you have someone faster, let them by, jump in their draft, and keep going. But if anything happens behind you in pole position like this is the best case advantage for Marshall Miller because he is going to walk away with this with half a track to go unless the people behind him really just focus on trying to get Marshall pointing the apex.
I think he was talking to us because there's nobody around him.
I didn't get slowed down. It would have looked like I touched the barrier, but not really.
Got it, Marshall. Yeah.
No! Get away!
Look at the shot here from Alex and the traffic he's looking at the back of.
Yeah,
Good
this
luck
was
sorting this out on the restart. track workers are checking some of their resources to see what they should do, and Jason's going to talk to him real quick. Most of the onboards having a little bit of audio behind him, but PJ is sitting very quietly in the number 29. And Armand with legs that don't fit in a go-kart. But that is where they're going to put Rachel back. They're going to put her in the third spot, right behind David. I believe that'll also put Tyler behind Armand.
As Marshall got a little bit of a jump
little
start.
bit of a false start there. Let's check his. Track is still yellow.
Everybody's
And stand by for green as they're about to restart on lap number 3.
Oh no.
And off they go.
All right. Now let's see if the Armand right behind Rachel, looking at David. Cold tire start.
Armand just going to try to look on the inside so that he can push the outside. But no,
gets
he's going to
bumped
get
from
pushed wise. He's not going to let that position be taken. So let's look at the row of traffic that Alex Haymaker is looking at, sitting back there. Alex has made hay. He is up 2 spots from his starting positions.
And there's a lot of bumping and shoving going on back there.
You said 1.
Oh, Cam 1.
Oh,
No,
sorry.
you're-
Not GoPro 1, sorry.
GoPro 1 is gone. PJ's onboard has died, but that's all right.
There you go. You got Armand Delaney in the orange. In front of him, Rachel Hart in the blue and purple
Yeah.
helmet.
Tyler is all over the back of him. This is,
And PJ right behind as well.
yep. And if they start getting into it, PJ is one of those guys. He will sneak through the inside. If you give him a gap, he'll go for it. So
Great shot overhead as they round turn 1, and nobody's going to make any dive bomb moves except for Tyler.
Tyler going on the inside.
That was the move he was making a few minutes ago, and Armand trying to push the back end of his kart around, but he's going to allow him to maintain that position. He's not half a car length up on him yet to make the pass.
Armand is one of those guys, too, where if you that's a rookie kind of move, trying to take that on Armand, because he'll close you out in turn 4 very quickly. And he knows that, so he'll put his cart accordingly. Armand closes the door on that, goes through. As they race clean here, they are catching up to Rachel. So if they kept it going for a lap, they would be on the back of Rachel, and then you can go for your position. But it just worked together a little bit.
As as Marshall continues to check out on the field, everybody else maintaining their positions as they round the start-finish line into lap 8.
So we are halfway through the race.
And the key now is just stay clean, be consistent.
That's it.
We can check on board with Armand, but that's really no change in the storyline there. And then we also were looking on board with Alex Haymaker and Jonathan Douglas and William Goss way behind him at this point.
Yep.
So
pretty good gap all the way back to him. Marshall running at 25.968. He's been in the 25s now for a little bit. Armand has closed up the gap to Rachel.
did we not start with Marshall's camera backwards?
Marshall's camera was backwards.
How did that get flipped around?
I honestly don't know.
The magic of the GoPros.
That's it. Very fast race, though. Everybody turning in 26s, couple 27s at the bottom there.
Oh,
Ooh,
somebody was dive
diving on
bombing
the
into
inside.
one. Is he going to make it stick? That's the William Goss at the very end of the number 26. He's in the back of the field.
No, he does not. Marshall with the fastest lap of the race again, 25.87.
He's following up with that qualifier, what he did with a 25.7, I believe.
Yep. David Ponce with a 25.914. So that gap between first and second is not going anywhere with a 1/10 of a second and 5 laps to go.
This race is nothing to David, who did the 50 race challenge the other day. 16 laps is just going to fly by in his brain.
I have a feeling, just like the last race, it's going to come down to the third place finish. There's David waving. I really want to see that third place, though, because that is going to be – everyone else is gapped out.
Yeah, let's watch.
This is going to be the race.
This is right here. Who's going to get aggressive at the very end? Tyler has been bumping Armand for quite a while now. He really wants to get by him.
Rachel trying to make her cart go faster by wiggling.
Yep.
And Armand is just looking for a small mistake from Rachel.
A top 5 is not going to do it for Tyler tonight. He wants to get that spot back from Armand.
And his best bet is to, if these two get into it, sneak through that. He's right on the tail. They are nose to tail all the way through, and this is for third place.
He was smart in that one to back off just a little bit, because otherwise if he had bumped him, he would have lost all his momentum, so that was a good move.
Yes, it was. With only a few laps remaining, I know they're going to wait till last lap or second to last lap, and they are someone's going to get greedy here, I have a feeling.
But unfortunately, it's going to need a mistake to make one of these drivers lose a spot, and none of these drivers are known for making mistakes.
Yep. Armand's being very calculated about where he's going to try and get by Rachel.
He knows exactly where Tyler is behind him, and he knows where his nose needs to be to keep up with Rachel.
Oh, a little shunt into the wall.
Tyler took another look, but he knew he wasn't that far up.
Marshall with the 25.6, just continuing his runs of 25s, and white flag is flying. Who is going to try and make a move on this last lap?
Big gap between first and second, but 3, 4, and 5 are where it's been this whole race. Can anybody make a move on the last lap?
This is where it's going to be, because that's where Rachel went wide last time. Tries to hang on.
Yep, she definitely tidied it up this time, adjusting to the car. And they're going to round the carousel one more time. Marshall Miller's going to win the A-Main in the month of March. Checkered flag is flying. David Pons in second. Rachel Hart ends up in the bottom spot of the podium. That was a great race from everybody.
Yeah, that was good. The last two mains were third place fights, basically.
We got a lot of chats from Squiggly as he's sitting there rooting on Marshall Miller. Congratulations to him, pole sitter and winner in the month of March. That'll maximize his point take home for the day.
I love that we caught David's wave down the start-finish line straight. As they congratulate each other.
There's the man who waves. Good job, David. Second place. He'll be happy with that.
I love it. They were... I couldn't decide if Armand was like holding, like trying to block Tyler, trying to get around Rachel. I think it was all going through his head all at once, but you know, what was the best way to do it? And I don't think he could make it clean. So he just backed off of it.
Looks like Alex fell back to 10th spot at the very end. William Goss finishing in 9th and Jonathan Douglas in 8th. But hey, all these guys finishing or putting themselves in the A-Main should be congratulated tonight.
Absolutely.
Great job on those qualifiers for sure.
A field of 26s and a few 25s.
As we bring you back up to the booth and, I don't know, summarize for the night. It's been a long evening with all the qualifiers, but
Corey Salerno in the chat. Why are you not here, Corey? You could have went for points. Oh, man.
Corey, we'd like to see you back next month.
Yep.
We know you're conditioning for the 12 hours. So.
Yeah, that's very true. In summary, no, great race all the way through the heats, and I saw a lot of improvement from the new people. Like they just come out, run with people that race a lot, and you'll eventually get there.
We want to see everybody who is here tonight back next month.
Definitely.
That would be a great goal. And a few more fresh faces. That would be awesome.
Yeah, bring a couple friends. Like I said, if you guys are just starting out, it's one of those things. You'll get put in the main that you are going to be in with your times, and it really does even it out. So really good racing all the way around. Congratulations to Marshall Miller.
That's going to wrap it up for us, guys. Hope you enjoyed hanging out with us on a Sunday evening. We will be back next month for the next round, but more importantly, we will be here next Friday, March 15th, for the big one. That'll be the 12 Hours of Canton. We hope you guys are following along and you bring lots of your friends for the same great action we saw in the last A-Main.
Yep, we'll see you guys then.